Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this Monday after the Masters and after the end of the NBA regular season. How many of you paid any attention to it? How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Top of the morning to you, Mark. How are you?
Good morning, David. I am doing well as long as Rick can hear us. At this point, we had a little confusion setting up our studios, and we have no idea where the gremlins came from. So let's just hope. I see the lines on the microphone moving. I see the lines on your microphone moving. That encourages me, but I'm yet to hear from our producer that says he can hear us. So if we're on the air, that's great. If not, I'll be in a bigger panic mode than what I was a moment ago.
I believe we're on the air, which is always a good thing. Miller and Moulton, MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. Unfortunately, Rick cannot hear us, so I don't know what to do. I'll let you talk for a second and try to figure this out, because I have no idea what the hell's going on.
Well, that is very interesting. Okay. For some reason, we had trouble connecting this morning. We connected right before when we normally go on the air. And, we're finding out in our chat room that some folks can hear us and some folks can't, which is
they can get us on YouTube and Twitch, but not on the radio. And that's kind of the important thing, being, a radio show.
Right. I get it.
So
I get it. Yeah, this is unusual. So weeks off to a interesting, hopefully not ominous start. But as I mentioned, the Monday after the Masters and a historic Masters. We don't normally get repeat winners of majors. And in the Masters case, we had only had it done 3 times before. But Rory makes number 4, and Rory is making quite the case to be remembered as a top 10 golfer of all time. Because now we're up to 6 majors. And now we're up to not 1, but 2 historic accomplishments. Just the 6th golfer to win the career Grand Slam, and now just the 4th golfer to go back-to-back at Augusta. So Rory McIlroy, who was clearly one of the 20 greatest golfers of all time, is making a big push to be remembered as one of the 10 greatest golfers of all time. 6 majors puts us in the Faldo, Trevino, Mickelson category. That's pretty impressive.
No doubt. And, David, there were many people that after the NCAA tournament said that it was, a boring Final Four. And to a large degree it was. And yesterday, here we go. We get to the back 9, and it looks like we're going to have an unbelievable Masters. And it was to me, maybe not to you, I'll just speak on my own behalf here. To me, it was incredibly underwhelming. No one made any big shots. Rory took care of business. All credit goes to Rory McIlroy. This is not a knock on him. I had no problem with Rory winning. He wasn't the guy I was rooting for, but I had no problem with Rory winning. But it was as boring of a back 9 at Augusta as I've seen in a while.
Well, and I think it was because people were not birdieing and threatening the eagle the 13th and the 15th the way that they had done in the past. Phil posted something on social media on Saturday in which he said, I get that they've had to lengthen the course. I get it. But I think they may have added a little too much yardage to 13 and 15. He goes, I'm not feeling the excitement watching 13 and 15. And he said, now, normally I'm not watching. Okay. He goes, but I'm not feeling it. And I think he was right. Now, I got to admit, if I was Phil, I never would have said it and posted it publicly. I mean, Augusta does not handle saying something only above average about their tournament and the course conditions and the course, et cetera. So the fact that he is, with a minor criticism of, hey, I think we've added too much length to 13 and 15, it's taken the risk reward, out of play. It did seem harder to get to 13 and 15 and 2. Genuinely harder. Many more layups on those two par fives than, Mark, I don't know about you, but that I've remembered in the recent past.
Well, there's no doubt that that's true, David. At least with the groups down the stretch. Now, we didn't even see some guys because if they didn't want to show them and they were close, we didn't get it. But a lot of the guys that were in contention, David, on 13 didn't put their drives in a spot where they could get there.
But I think part of that is they've added so much length, the guys really got to grip it and rip it to have a shot. I mean, not everybody's Rory, in which seemingly every drive is between 330 and 360.
And boy, did he drive the ball. And from 7 on, he hit a bad drive on 18. There's no doubt. He hit one other bad one on the backside on 14, I believe. Or
no, 15, 14, he piped
15, sorry, 15. But he drove the ball incredibly well from 7 on yesterday. He really did. He was just piping it down the fairway.
Yeah, finally. That's the amazing thing. Rory, Mark, they say the 3 best drivers of their generation was Arnold Palmer, Greg Norman, and Rory McIlroy. And Rory was winning this tournament not from the fairway the first 3 days. I mean, what was he, second to last in the field in fairways hit when he was leading by 6 after 2 rounds, and he was second to last in fairways.
And Saturday, by the way, was terrific. I mean, guys were making numbers, guys were going nuts. And I guess my only counter to, because there's nothing you're saying about the non-Eagles happening, but you got, and Hovland kind of spit the bit coming in a little bit, but I mean, Hovland at one point was 7 under on Sunday. In an early, Hatton put together a hell of a round yesterday. The problem is that, Rose 3 putts there on 15?
13.
On 13. He 3 putts on 13. He's got a good look at eagle in 3 putts. After Young was able to start with the lead, he never did anything. Rose had the lead, spit it up. There was just, I should have probably wrote down what all the back 9 scores were of the contenders, because
wasn't it remarkable? Scotty Scheffler finishes second by 1, and he played 13 and 15 for the week, 1 under, 7 pars, and that ridiculous birdie on 15 on Sunday. Oh my goodness. Up and down from the rough under a tree from 189. Unreal. And that's the birdie he makes on 13 or 15 for the tournament. Unreal. But we didn't have enough greatness on the back 9 yesterday, although that tee shot Rory hit on 12, the onions to hit that tee shot. The onions to attempt the tee shot. Never mind pull it off.
I mean, he definitely won the tournament there. There's no doubt. And you have to give Young credit, because after Rory hits the shot, then Young, hit it not as well, but still that it, forces him to attack the pin, and he pulled the shot off. He didn't make the putt, mind you, but man, oh man, he pulled that shot off. That impressed the hell out of me.
Yes, and I will say I thought it was the highlight of the CBS announcing team. And I think it was Immelman. I have to admit, I'm having trouble telling the voices apart between Immelman and Colt Knost. I don't know who's talking when. But I thought it was Immelman who then said, I wonder if that tee shot by Rory puts the pressure on Young to try to go for something here. And sure enough, he did. And he made it. Thank goodness. But yeah, nobody made a putt. And, Justin Rose has a 2-shot lead, and he's standing in the middle of the 11th fairway. And he admitted afterwards, whether he didn't say these words, he didn't say he got tight. He said he lost confidence. He said, I'm standing in the middle of 11. I got the perfect yardage. He goes, and I just didn't trust my swing. I just didn't trust it. And so I kind of fanned it out to the right. I make bogey. He goes, 12. I got the, perfect yardage and didn't trust it. And then when he 3-putted 13, he said, yeah, amen corner. He said, amen corner deflated me.
I can see it. 38 for Rose on the backside. Scheffler shot 30. He shoot 34. I think that's the best score on the back nine. Henley shots 36. Guys like Morikawa and Hatton shot really good scores, but they were
right.
Even with what they did yesterday, anybody that wasn't 7 under or better going into the round, I didn't think had a shot. And I did. I told my son before we looked at the 6 unders because I had picked Patrick Reed. I go, I just don't see Patrick Reed as a 64 guy out there. I said the 1-600, believe it or not, David, I said the 1-600 guy I could see making a run's Henley. I could see him making birdies. And then when he starts going, my son and I looked at him and I went, oh, look at this. But he ended up not having it. After playing just an unbelievable front nine, he shoots even par on the back nine. Well,
but also, quite frankly, like 17 and 18, most of the week played as 2 of the 4 toughest holes on the course. I mean, they were set. By the way, and once again, they don't want to hear criticism. When the entire field, no one makes a birdie on 17, yeah, that's an indictment of your pin position. Okay, it was a little too extreme. No birdies on 17. And by the way, could Immelman stop it? That was not where the pin was in 86. That pin is 20 feet away from where that pin was in 86. Please, Norman's 12-footer was to the left of the pin coming up the hill. You only had about 8 feet left of the pin before you were off the green. Okay, please stop it. Leave the history of the Masters to Nance. Will you please? God.
Well, other than 12, like what you talked about, the only other insightful thing I thought he had was on Saturday, because I want him telling me golf stuff. He immediately said, look, I think it was Rory, he's choked down. He's going to lay up. Give me golf, Trevor. That's it.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise. On 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
There were turtles. Okay.
Oh yeah, there were turtles, and the one that was funny because I guess it was a report, like someone saw it or put it out there. Jake and I are watching, and on 13 one day, we're like, did someone putt? You could see in the back or a shot. And was that a fish? Like you could see something come out of the water in a splash. Was that a turtle or a fish? And apparently he found it on X that it was a bass that must have, got a bug or something. But it was like, oh, all right. Left Twix. No, not anywhere close. Fill out a ticket, Rick. Put in a ticket. Having a little fun.
Right. And send what's
At your expense, Rick.
Yeah. And send what's his face an email because he doesn't respond to phone calls or texts. Well, he's not close at all to Tiger Letwix.
Yeah, he's not
almost
halfway.
I mean, now a legitimate question is Rory or Phil, Rory or Faldo. I mean, the career Grand Slam could get him above all those guys. If he were to not win another major, which his age and the way he's playing right now, you think he's going to win some more. Yeah, it pains me to say it because I know everybody on the crew. And usually, I mean, CBS's golf coverage is light years better than NBC's. But I mean, I've never seen CBS have trouble tracking the ball before. And there were numerous shots in that final round where they didn't know where the ball was. I couldn't believe it.
The drive on 15, the drive on 18, the second shot on 18.
For both of them.
No, I know.
I mean, it's, the angle they had for the tap in was not a good angle also.
At the end?
Yeah.
Okay, I was gone. I mean, literally once the ball was next, we had dinner reservations. And I mean, literally when he rolled the putt by the hole, and he marked it, we walked out the door.
Yeah, Bryson really struggled from bunkers. Wow, it was amazing.
DC, I think it's a fair statement, but I'm in a tough position to talk about it because I don't watch any live golf. So I don't know how difficult the courses are. I don't think they're playing as difficult courses as what's on tour. I don't think their setup is hard. No.
Deadstruck, you're the only one that I've heard say that. The early returns are people don't like the two hometown announcers joining Benetti. But it's early. What are we, 2 games in?
Well, I think Andrew Jones and Sabathia are on the panel, right?
Oh, I thought Jones was one of the two in the booth last night. I don't know.
Was it? I haven't watched.
Sabathia is on the panel. I know that.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. On this Monday after the Masters, on this Monday after the NBA regular season comes to an end, on this final Monday of the NHL season, Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. A Masters without the usual excitement down the stretch that we normally have. Just worked out that way. It happens. Doesn't happen often. but it does happen. But history, I don't know about you, Mark, and I don't know how much you had the volume up. And I watched most of the Masters with the volume down, except for yesterday. For some reason, the volume was up yesterday. And I thought they were clearly rooting for Rory.
Yes.
Which
absolutely
is very unlike, unless it involved Tiger. It's very unlike how CBS does the Masters. They usually root for the tournament. They usually root for excitement. But I thought they were clearly rooting for Rory yesterday, which surprised me.
Well, I think part of that was, David, Scheffler couldn't make birdies because early in the round, I thought, and I watched from noon on. I had the Amazon coverage on, the CBS, bonus coverage, if you will, because it was the same crew. Nance is doing those 2 hours, and they're all doing that noon to 2 yesterday on Amazon. So as Scheffler gets it going early, and guys are making threats earlier, almost before, and they didn't tee off Rory didn't tee off till 2:30.
Right.
So I thought were rooting a little more for a tournament up until the point when on the back nine, no one could do anything. I mean, I didn't think they were rooting against Rose, but once Rose 3-putted 13, I thought they were done with him. And you're right in that I never thought they got excited about Cam Young in any way, shape, or form. But I think if Scottie Scheffler makes a couple of birdies on the back nine, I think you would have heard a slightly different tone. They want stars. I believe, David, you would know this better than I, but it's the same producer and director, right? Or no?
Yes. Well, they changed producers about 5 years ago. But yeah, what we're used to this decade. Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, the producer's the one in the ear trying to help tell the story to, helping the announcers along, if you will. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think that's a fair thing to say that they were rooting for Rory. I will say this. I mean, I wonder, maybe the fact that Rory was the mouthpiece of golf for a while and he started to annoy people, myself included. And the fact that he's not from the United States, maybe people like Scheffler more, but Scheffler is so boring and Rory has some excitement about his game that I think, but he gets excited out there. He's more fun to watch than Scheffler.
Well, yes, and Scheffler was very much a machine over the weekend. He didn't make a bogey. First time in over 80 years that someone's played the weekend at Augusta bogey-free. Tough to go after a guy who shoots 11 under on the weekend at Augusta without a bogey. But you're right. He didn't have two compelling back nines both days. And obviously that's where the tournament has gotten its legacy from. And that's what we remember. I thought you and I had a better text exchange, though, than the booth. Like, it's amazing to me, and all the networks that cover golf do this, but how quickly they declare the tournament over. I mean, have they not watched golf? Have they not? I mean, this is what I would bring up constantly. Yeah, Rory had a 2-shot lead with 2 to play, and there's no more water. You know when Tiger had that amazing chip in on 16 back in 2005? Yeah, he had a 2-shot lead with 2 to play over Chris DeMarco. Chris DeMarco made 2 pars. They ended up in a playoff. Why? Because Tiger went bogey. This is the Masters, okay? Arnold Palmer doubled 18 with a 1-shot lead to lose by 1. Okay, stuff happens. Okay, I thought they should have spent more time. I thought you and I had an interesting text debate. If I was Rory's caddy, never would have let him hit driver on 18. And you text me and said, he's missed 1 fairway since 7. I go, I don't know what to tell you. He just put it in the trees to the right on 15. The only way you can make 6 on this hole is to put it in the bunkers or the trees. I would have handed him a 3-wood. He can't reach the bunker, and he hits it dead straight. Okay? I would not let him hit driver. And when that ball started going to the right, I went,
Well, 6 is in play. Hell, 7's in play. He got lucky where that ball ended up.
He did, and it was funny. As soon as they show where he is, I'm like, because in my head, and I'll give him a little credit there because they brought up, I forgot who shot Nats brought up that he made it over the tree, but they quickly pointed out he could hit a big hook. Okay, because your two options there, as soon as you see it, are to take it down. I believe that's 10.
10.
Right, 10 fairway and then come back. Or he had an angle where he could hit a big hook over the tree. Thank you. That's what I'm expecting out of you. But yes, just so you know, David and I will debate over text back and forth during a golf tournament.
Yes, we did our own alternate broadcast. We pretended we were on Paramount Plus. Okay, we have 4 people watching and listening to us right now. That's okay.
Unlike the Fab 5 broadcast that they put on during the March Madness, this was the Fat 2 broadcast. It was a little different.
Right. Right. Or the fat or beefy,
Whatever you want to go with.
In fact, Miller and Moulton, except when we do a text broadcast, at which point we're fat and beefy.
Right. So, yes, David and I were going back and forth. And I mean, but you've kind of got me on that because I just try to watch. I really do. I don't try to overanalyze. I try to let the tournament come to me or the game or whatever I'm watching. But CBS right now is a tough watch on golf because there's part of it, David, and I don't know. I have the volume on. I can't do what you do. I can't watch on mute. I really cannot. It's difficult for me to stay interested if I can't hear anything. But I want the analyst in the booth to talk to me about golf. And he's talking about records and he's talking about the stuff to me that the play-by-play guy, that Nance should be doing. Yes. There was one occasion, and I don't remember what golfer it was. I think it was Young on Saturday, in which he's got a low grip and he goes, well, because they said he got 2 options. He can go cut it or he can go under. And immediately when he gripped the club, he goes, well, he's gripped it low on the club. He's going to go under. Okay, that's golf stuff. That's what I want to know. The shot of the tournament, by the way, a shot of Sunday may have came from Young on 8 there when he hits the chip up the damn hill.
Oh, yeah.
It looked like he sculled the thing. And it's like, that's the shot he's playing. Holy cow.
How about that creativity?
No kidding.
Because I'm with you. He hits that shot, and I'm like, wait, did I hit that shot? That's a 15 handicapper shot. What's going on here? No, wait, he's intentionally pounding it up the mound and wants it to roll down off it. How about that?
By the way, we talked about this on Friday with Mark Lai, and it was never brought up from that point forward by any of the broadcasters. When they're laying up on 15 and some guys hit some bad shots and guys hit some good shots, what do they need to do? They need to get as far down the hill and to the left as possible because that's where it's flat. And as that was going on and guys were struggling with their third shots on 15, I'm thinking about our interview. And Trevor Immelman never said it once, David.
Well, and that's where Rory nearly lost the tournament because, boy, that ball barely made it onto the green. His third on 5th barely made it. That would have brought like 6 guys into the equation. Whew.
Miller and Moulton. Starting 5 when we come back. And I, at some point today, will shock one David Moulton. Thanks for listening.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. floormeisters.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
PA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I kind of feel like the Verizon wireless guy, but can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, Rick.
Wow. We're making great strides here, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, by 7 o'clock, we'll have this thing running smoothly.
Okay, well, we're all good, I guess. Yeah,
All
but,
right.
You know,
I don't know if someone was in. Now, I will say, Rick, the first thing, David couldn't hear me. I couldn't hear him at the beginning. So I don't think that early when but as soon as we put a new studio in, David and I could immediately hear one another and you could not hear us.
okay. Okay. I like I said, I'm actually running you guys on a completely different channel than I normally do. So I think it may have been something, but you know what? The engineer's been notified. And, you know, if we keep this setup, we keep this setup. Just let's pick one way or the other. But we're all good.
All right. Sounds good.
Ambient, I really do think that you are the only person watching UFL. And I don't mean in our Twitch chat room.
I will say, I think Adam is too.
Okay.
No, I won't be doing any events, Eddie, but thank you. I'm not allowed out. Change my lighting here. That's just awful.
And Eddie, I live in Jacksonville. So
That's not any better. Oh. It's growing. Okay, if you say so. Look at you guys watching UFL. Look at, see, they're telling you, David, they're watching.
wow.
David, did you find out if you have Amazon Prime?
No, because I never even tried.
But you don't know if you have Amazon Prime? Is it like your wife doesn't order anything from Amazon Prime? You don't pay, because it's $180 a year or something like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we don't have Amazon.
Okay. I'm going to tell you right now, you need to get Paramount and you need to watch Landman.
Oh, I've had Paramount for a couple of years.
Well, did she live through it? I mean, that's really the important part, Paula. When you get up there, so, a surprise birthday party can cause problems. She's still alive today.
Right. Needs to be a joyful surprise, not a shocking surprise.
What he said.
Right. It's that fine line.
All right, I may try it, Left Twix. It looks incredibly cheesy to me. The clips I've seen at Tulsa King look really cheesy to me. Looks like they try really hard to be a mob show, but
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Chris Easterling will be our only guest today. He covers the Browns. They're one of the 5 teams that have multiple first-round picks, 6 and 24, I believe.
That's exactly right, David.
2 first-rounders. So we'll talk to Chris Easterling about the Browns 10 days out from the draft. What are they going to do? What should they do? Et cetera, et cetera. By the way, throwing this out there for you, Mark, to consider, and we'll get to it next hour. If you were the Chargers and the Bears, you have pick 22 and pick 25. Would you call the Giants and offer those picks up for Dexter Lawrence? Think about it.
Boy, for Chicago, I think that's a hell of a good idea. I think for both, but I really think for Chicago, that's an excellent idea.
Both teams have need. Both teams have cap space to be able to bring in a guy who right now is counting for about 19 to 20 on the books. Yes, he wants a raise. He's worth it. But just saying, to make the initial acquisition, because here we are, because I don't know how much, monster trade activity. I think we could have a lot of trades in this draft, but I don't know if there's a big one, if you will. If there's a Crosby trade, they tried it once. Now they're going to pull it off on draft day.
We had 6 trades in the first round last year, David, for what it's worth. Just, it's something you like to pay attention to. We had 6 trades that involved picks in the first round a year ago, just to give people a little perspective.
So take the half, either reduce it a half or add a half, and that'll be our over-under then.
Exactly.
For this year's draft. But just something to think about. We'll get to it next hour. 20 minutes before the hour. Time now for
The Starting 5. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is The Starting 5.
Brought to you by Lee County, Florida. One of the 5 fastest growing counties in the state of Florida, Lee County, building a better community through BST, business, sports, and tourism. The Masters, for a brief moment, Rory was 3 shots back after 6 holes. But then he played holes 7 through 17, 4 under, in taking a 2-shot lead with him to 18. And he ends up with a tap-in bogey to become just the 4th golfer to win back-to-back Masters, joining Jack Nicklaus, Nick Faldo, and Tiger Woods. It's Rory's 6th major, tied with the likes of Trevino, Faldo, and Mickelson. His 2nd Masters, 6th major, in his mid-30s. Scotty Scheffler had an amazing weekend, 65, 68, no bogeys. First golfer in at least 84 years to play the Masters bogey-free on the weekend. He finished 1 back. Justin Rose, Cameron Young, Russell Henley, Terrell Hatton all finished 2 back and tied for third. The Masters 2026 has come and gone. Final day of the NBA regular season yesterday. There were some seedings up for grabs. All 12 playoff teams had been determined. All 8 play-in teams had been determined. It was just a matter of who was going to be what seed. Interesting, the significance of the Orlando-Boston game. No significance to Boston. Great deal of significance for Orlando. Boston ended up winning in Beantown 113-108, which, by the way, turned out to be Mark Jones' last broadcast with ESPN after 36 years. He's leaving on his own accord. The word is he's going to become the play-by-play voice of the Sacramento Kings. Interesting. He filled in and did Kings broadcasts a couple years ago. But Boston wins. Orlando then drops to the 8th seed. A win in Orlando would have been no worse than the 7 and would have had a shot to avoid the play-in. But what's really interesting, Mark, is that by losing, there is not a 3-way tie for 5th. If there were a 3-way tie for 5th between Toronto, Atlanta, and Orlando, Atlanta would have been the 5 seed. But because it was just a 2-way tie between Toronto and Atlanta, Toronto is the 5, Atlanta is the 6. So that means Toronto gets the Cavs and Atlanta gets the Knicks. The Knicks haven't lost to the Raptors in like 5 years. Okay, believe me, the Knicks wanted Toronto. They get Atlanta. And by losing, Orlando goes from hosting the 7-8 play-in game to being on the road and going to Philadelphia Wednesday night. The Heat finished as the 10 seed. They beat Atlanta 143-117. The Heat are in Charlotte in the loser is out 9-10 play-in game. Other games with meaning: Toronto won to be the 5. They beat Brooklyn by 35. Denver needed to win to be the 3 seed, so Jokic played. And he played well. And the Nuggets won. They're the 3 seed. They beat San Antonio 128-118. Lakers won to make sure they're the 4. They beat Utah by 24. Portland beat Sacramento by 12. Portland then is the 8th seed. Now, they'll be on the road for the 7-8 play-in at Phoenix, but if they lose that, they will host the winner of the 9-10 play-in out west, which is Golden State at the Clippers. You know, this is the 4th time in 6 years Golden State's been in the play-in. It's the 2nd time in those 6 years they've been the 10 seed. Yet they've also cut down the nets once in the last 6 years. So, Steph's 38.
Right. And
This ain't
Draymond's
lasting
no
much
good
longer.
anymore. There's not much else there.
No.
You know, I mean, they made some moves, but and Draymond's, I mean, Steph's 38. I mean, how many games did he play this year? He missed a lot of time.
Well, he missed like 28 in a row with the knee injury, so I think he barely played half the schedule. Doc Rivers out in Milwaukee. No surprise. We told you that was coming last week. I mean, Doc was already talking about missing the grandkids, so you knew he wasn't in this for long. Plus, he just got into the Hall of Fame. Why does he need to keep doing this? Sacramento's going to stick with Doug Christie, which is interesting because I think they went 22-60 this year. Yet they're sticking
But
with
he
him.
did most of it for him. I mean, they've got to reward him. He's the one they told to lose, for crying out loud.
Well, that's true, but usually you know what they do, Mark.
I know.
They make people tank for them and then they fire them because they're trying to win multiple press conferences. NHL, Montreal beats the Islanders 4-1. Islanders eliminated from playoff contention. Montreal technically tied for first in the division. They're 2 points ahead of the Lightning, but Tampa Bay's got a game in hand. Worst case scenario for Tampa Bay, they win out, they'll be second. Boston beat Columbus 3-2. Bruins right now are the first wild card with 98 points, a point ahead of Ottawa, who lost in overtime to New Jersey 4-3. So your wild cards are Boston and Ottawa. That's not going to change. It's just a matter of who's going to be the first wild card, who's going to be the second. Columbus, by the way, crushing loss. They're all but eliminated. Magic number to eliminate the Blue Jackets is 1 point. They have 1 game left. Philly has 2. And the likelihood is that even if Philly lost their last 2, it wouldn't be Columbus. It would be Washington, because the Caps have moved ahead of them. They're ahead of Columbus and a point behind Philly, but they only have 1 game left, and the Flyers have 2. Washington shut out Pittsburgh 3-0. The Penguins lined up to shake Ovechkin's hand, kind of like the end of a Stanley Cup playoff series. And Ovechkin turned, looked at him, and waved him off and told Sid, he goes, I haven't made up my mind yet. I really don't know what I'm going to do. Crosby went, okay. And so the Penguins skated off the ice. It was the Caps' last home regular season game of the year. They made Ovechkin the first star. So he said he'll decide in the offseason after talking to his family.
I do think it's set up good, and no offense to Columbus and any Blue Jacket fans, if you're actually out there, that it looks like the Pens are either going to play the Flyers, good in-state rivalry, or they're going to pay the Caps. I mean, if you're the NHL, you're pleased with how that's turned out.
Totally. Because the Penguins and Flyers absolutely hate each other. Okay, and I think both Penguin and Capitals fan bases have gotten over it. Washington fans have, I think, gotten over it after they hoisted Lord Stanley. Okay, and beat the Penguins along the way after the Penguins had beaten them 3 times in the playoffs, and all 3 times went on to hoist Lord Stanley. So now it's kind of the mutual respect,
And
Philly,
you set it up for the same reason that most of us like it, because I was never the biggest Ovi fan in the world, but he's certainly, to me, the most popular Russian to ever play the game in North America. And for me, it's because of how he acted after winning the Stanley Cup. Yeah. The summer of Ovechkin was one of the great things in sports. It really was.
Is this a fair analogy? The Penguins Flyers is Florida State and the Gators. Okay, the Penguins Capitals is Florida State Miami.
I like it. I like it.
All right. Anaheim left a point on the board. They lost in overtime to Vancouver. Because of it, they're in 3rd place. Top 3 teams in the division separated by a point. And really a meaningless game. Utah's locked in as the first wild card. They lost to Calgary 4-1. Baseball. Hey, the Rays swept the Yankees. First time they've done that in 5 years. Yanks have lost 5 in a row. 5-4 Tampa Bay. Red Sox are getting it together a little bit. They took 2 of 3 from the Cardinals, 9-3. They've won 4 of 5. Orioles took 2 of 3 from the Giants, 6-2. They've won 5 of 6. Boy, the Twins stay hot. After the 4-game sweep of the Tigers, they took 2 out of 3 from Toronto, 8-2. Braves took 2 of 3 from the Guardians, 19 hits, 13 runs. Boy, and they had Chris Sale pitching. They didn't need half that.
No, another 1-run performance from Sale in 6 innings. He's had 4 starts. 3 of them have been sensational.
13-1 Atlanta. Marlins got swept in Detroit. Tigers, after getting swept in Minneapolis, come home and sweep the Marlins 8-2. Supposed to be a pitcher's duel yesterday. Skubal against Sandy Alcantara. Skubal did his part. A's sweep the Mets 1-0. Mets have lost 5 in a row. Arizona took 2 out of 3 from the Phillies 4-3. Washington went into Milwaukee and swept the Brewers, who've lost 5 in a row and are likely going to lose Yelich, who tweaked a hamstring. Expect him to go on the IL later today. 8-7 Washington over the Brew Crew. Cubs avoid the sweep, snap a 4-game losing skid, and overcome a 5-run deficit in the process. Beat the Pirates 7-6. That's the first place Pirates, in case you're wondering. Angels 9-6 over the Reds. Jose Soriano, the first 4-game winner in the majors for the Angels. Astros have lost 7 in a row. Seattle beat them 6-1. Texas avoids getting swept in L.A. They beat the Dodgers 5-2. Ohtani led off the game, second straight game with a homer, this time off DeGrom. But that's the only run DeGrom gave up in 6 innings and getting the win.
Padres, 4-game sweep of the Rockies, 7-2, but they lose starter Nick Pivetta with an elbow injury. Ouch. And White Sox and Royals split a 4-game series. Chicago beat KC 6-5. Pay attention, Mark.
I was going to say, here it comes, everybody. Get ready.
One other baseball note, Phil Garner, who 3 different franchises claim him. Pirates claim him because he was an instrumental part of the We Are Family 79 Pirates as a player. All right. But the Astros claim him because he was the manager when they went to the World Series for the first time in 2005. Phil Garner passed away at the age of 76 over the weekend. And finally, Mark, the good old boys were at Bristol. Ty Gibbs with the win. Ryan Blaney led 190 laps. He finished second. That's okay because Kyle Larson led 284 laps and he finished third. And our buddy Ross Chastain does not have it going on this year. He finished 20th. And
He didn't have it going on last year. If he wouldn't have won a race, he'd have never gotten to the playoff.
And as we approach 7 minutes before the hour, that was the starting five big stories you needed to know, courtesy of Lee County, Florida. They're building a better community the only way they know how, through BST, business, sports, and tourism.
Once he blew off this show, he quit racing well. Used to be a regular, used to answer our calls. Then he got too big for us. And You know what's happened? He's really a nothing now.
I don't know. He did finish second in the Cup standings one year. He had blown us off by then, but yep, he got too big for us. He was testing in Vegas one day, answered his cell phone. He was literally in between sessions, did an interview with us. Doesn't answer our calls anymore.
One of many. Miller and Moulton.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
PA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Timko, I mean, it really was just two holes. But I mean, look at what Shane Lowry did on the back nine. I think he blew up on the back nine as well. That's what he does. But
I'll have to take your word for it. I didn't see a shot.
I
Same
looked.
thing- Same thing with Haitong Lee, who goes 6'10" on 12 or 13. Did we see a shot?
How do you not show a guy making it? I'm being serious.
Thank you.
Like,
No, yes, when he puts it from one side of the green, off the green into Rays Creek.
Right.
You can't show us that and just say that was on the way to a 10.
and David, you can show two. You can show him. I would show him trying to hit it out of the azaleas. Then I would show the putt, and then I would say what you said.
Right. The first shot is him making a 6 on 12. Okay. Now here on 13, it's going to get worse. Right.
Did you see his shot Saturday on 15? He goes for the green on 15, David.
Right.
And his 3-wood or whatever, 4-wood, 7-wood, whatever the hell he hits, never got more than 8 feet off the ground.
Oh, yeah. And he like 3 hops it into the pond.
Yeah.
Right.
Rose, I was hoping anybody would. I got to be honest with you. As boring of a back nine as I ever remember at the Masters. And here, Jake and I are like, all right, we got a tournament. Guys are going nuts. There's all this action as we get to, guys making the turn. It's like, all right, this is what they say. This sucker doesn't start until the back nine on Sunday. And guys just couldn't do a thing. Young couldn't make a putt. Rose 3 putts 13.
I thought Catalan recovered great, but when they showed Rose's second shot into 13, the tracker had it going into Rays Creek. And Catalan's following the tracker. And Catalan goes, oh no. And then it lands 8 feet from the pin. And he goes, what a great shot. But I was with Catalan. I'm like, that ain't left enough. That's going to be in the water.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Monday after the Masters, on this Monday after the NBA regular season has come to an end, and the play-in tournament starts tomorrow. We're in the final days of the NHL regular season as well. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X.
I feel like that's a public service announcement for me and the rest of the audience, David. I really do. The NBA season's over because you said it like fact. You could have gone, Will Ferrell Anchorman there. The NBA season's over.
The NBA season's in San Diego.
So
yes, I know.
I'm with you. Thank you.
Yes, for about 1/4 to 1/3 of our audience, I definitely feel as if it's a public service announcement. And they're like, oh, okay, the NBA playoffs about to start. Here's the funny thing, though. The entire play-in tournament's on Amazon.
I thought you were going to say True TV.
No, that's the college tournament still on True, but the entire play-in tournament is on Amazon.
And, look, I know there are a lot of people out there. I know our audience is not a big NBA audience. I know there are plenty of people out there that love the league. And hopefully for you, the playoffs will deliver. But I pointed out 6 weeks ago that the playoffs were set. And they were.
Yeah.
Ended up being a couple of seeding things down the stretch that happened.
Yeah.
5, 6, 7 in the East. And there was some, with the Lakers and the Nuggets and the Rockets in the West. So, yeah, there were some things going on in Oklahoma City, and the Spurs were close for a while. Detroit and Boston were close for a while, but it was uneventful for the last 6 weeks because so many teams have tanked. But when the biggest story for the last 6 weeks of your regular season, David, is tanking, that explains what's going on with your regular season. And that's a problem. So, the first round, we'll see if we get some compelling first round series after this play-in crap's over with. My only complaint about the play-in is that the losers of the play-in get into the lottery. I don't think they should.
So you think the lottery should just be 10 teams?
Yes. And I have no problem if they each get one ball, if you know what I mean, so that we don't have this tanking thing. I know you've said take the draft out, which I don't think is the worst idea, by the way. I'm not poo-pooing that at all. I don't think it'll happen. That's the only reason I poo-poo it a little bit, is I don't think that they're going to get rid of the draft. I don't think it's a terrible idea. I just don't think it's going to happen. I would just simply give them all one ball. And if you miss the playoffs, you're not in. And if you're in the playoff, if you're in the play-in, you don't get in the lottery. That's all.
Well, by the way, Barkley's answer to tanking is all 30 teams get one ball.
So Boston and the Lakers can get picks 1 and 2 every year?
Yeah, I think that's what or maybe he's just talking about those in the lottery, but everybody gets a ball.
That's what I'd like to see. That's just, the more I've thought about it, I think that's the best way to try to get teams to not tank. That's all.
I think a bigger problem, though, is the people not playing.
I'm with you.
I think it is an unbelievable. Is there another sport? And I mean it. Is there another? And I'm talking about, anybody who's got international, you're from another country or you've traveled the world. Is there another sport, major sport in a country, in which one of the major problems are the participants of the sport not participating? Help me out here.
The closest thing we've seen to it, David, I can honestly say, was this year in the NHL with the Florida Panthers. You have the 2-time defending Stanley Cup champions, and once things started going south, they told some guys to take the rest of the year off. They were injured, but that a Marchand would have played if they were playing for a playoff spot, if you know what I mean.
Right, but he did play. Remember, when they came back from the Olympics, they still gave it one more try to make the playoffs.
No, I know, but that's the only thing I got for you.
But I'm talking about not just a 3-4 week stretch. Also, that's one team. Is there another sport in which this has been a problem in the history of civilization? I mean it.
Okay, I mean, you can go back in golf where they're all independent contractors, and the PGA Tour wishes they'd play more, and they wish they'd spice their schedule up. Obviously, they wanted Arnie and Jack and Tiger, and hey, is there any way you haven't played this tournament in 8 years, you haven't played here in 12, is there any way you could make your schedule a little different? And they'd go, no, I can give you the reason. I don't like that course. I'll tell you why I'm playing in these tournaments. Sponsor, like the course. It's 2 weeks before a major, and then they just give their reasons and they go, so that's why my schedule's my schedule and it doesn't change much.
And by the way, pre-Tiger, they probably played a little bit more because they had to do this crazy thing called earn a living.
Right. Right.
I mean, that's just a fact. So, by the way, why do we love the Masters? From the start of the CBS window at 2 p.m. yesterday, there were 17 and a half minutes of full ad breaks. That's 5 hours of coverage. They had 2 30-second sponsored by segments highlighting the tournament's champion partners. 4.5 minutes of full breaks over the final 2 hours.
So
that's why we love that tournament.
So over 5 hours, you average 3.5 minutes of commercials an hour. So you averaged 1 2-minute break and 1 90-second break. They darn near, here's the funny thing, if you're of a certain age, you don't remember this, they've darn near doubled the amount of commercials they play. Remember when they used to boast that they do 58 minutes an hour of golf?
Yep.
They took from 29 to 30 at the bottom of the hour and 59 to 0 at the top of the hour. That used to be it. And they either had 2 sponsors or 4 sponsors, and either the 2 sponsors got 2 ads or all 4 sponsors got 1 ad an hour. And that's it. And then there was the year when they were threatening all these protests because Augusta hadn't allowed a female member yet. Martha Burke, I think, was her name, and she was going to have all these protests outside the tournament. And so Augusta didn't want it to reflect badly on their sponsors. They didn't want all of a sudden their sponsors to be the subject of protests. Okay, so they didn't run any commercials that year. They just paused for like 30 seconds and played the music and went through the scores and allowed the announcers to all take a sip. Okay, that was it. That was no commercials at all for the whole tournament. And Augusta stood there and like, we can do this every year, we don't really need this money, they pay for the corporate 10, and it's not a 10, it's a house, and it's off the 5th hole. Okay, but I mean, we just throw in some commercials, to the ones we really like, but we can do this every year.
So that's why we love it. And it was underwhelming to me. It was one of my least favorite Masters, probably since David and I have been doing a show. I mean, there have been some coronations when guys have had big leads and things like that, but it was not an exciting Masters to me. No. And it was nothing against Rory, because I know I've taken some shots at Rory on this show. I will say his comments on, Friday, I think it was, when he just said, I'm going to go put my green jacket on, have a drink and go home. I'm like, yeah, more of that guy. And I think after he decided not to be the mouthpiece of the tour, either they didn't want him to be anymore, or he didn't want to be, he's become more likable again.
Well, he got mad at him. I mean, he was the mouthpiece of the tour, and then they went and announced the side deal with the LIV guy, and Rory went, what? I took all these bullets for you, and you did what? I'm out.
Boy, Watson teed off on him.
Yeah.
On the tour.
Yeah.
Teed off on the tour.
Yeah, he said if I was the tour, this is where they wouldn't be allowed back. Or they'd have to play a year on the Corn Ferry Tour, finish in the top 20 or 30, whatever it is, and earn their card back. Okay. Hey, Watson's old school. Him and Player are still yelling about square groove clubs back in the day. But anyway, what did you think of Rory? I think Rory's getting a bad rap. I think this is a world that 99.99% of us can't fathom being in, but he's took some heat when he talked about his preparation over the last 3 weeks, and he said, I saw some comments and you guys were worried that, I hadn't played a tournament. He said, guys, I was here like every day. He said, I would literally take my daughter to school, drop her off, fly here, play a practice round, fly back, and be home for dinner. Okay,
I love it.
right.
Trust me. You and I love the show Billions. I mean, the excess is what we promote in this country, and if you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. These athletes make an obscene amount of money right now, and he's doing what he can do.
Right.
Well, what would you rather have? Tiger that can't drive, or Rory that's able to fly to the Augusta and play a practice round?
But there were some people that went after Rory, going, "This is arrogance." We can't relate to that. Well, no, we can't relate to. No.
The only thing we can relate to there is Lee, who made a 6 on 12 and a 10 on 13.
Right.
That we can relate to.
Yes, I can hit one into the bush on 12. I can putt one off of the green into Rays Creek. I know I can. Yes.
And they never showed any of it, which is an abomination on CBS's part.
It really is. Couldn't give us 30 seconds. We needed to see more walking off the tee. Really?
And I know they probably can't show it, but the fact that I've got to find it on X of Sergio having an out-of-body experience, the driver slam followed by the driver break. But the best part about that whole thing is that he's so upset with himself when Rahm's caddy has to rake the trap. Sergio's like, I can't do anything else. How about I carry your bag? I'm sorry, that's funny.
Right. And he got criticized for it. I'm like, you don't understand. He literally was saying out loud, I might as well be useful because I can't play.
I thought it was funny. You may not. Everybody gets a little upset about things. Obviously McIntyre, he was not happy on Thursday when he shot $1 million and got in trouble for it. Right. Well, Sergio got reprimanded too.
Yes, he did.
Next question.
Mike Greenberg says he shouldn't be allowed back to the tournament. He won the thing. He's got a jacket. Lighten up, Greeny.
Miller and Moulton
anymore? Jets talk.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Faro and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Faro and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Faro and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Dratharian Mike Greenberg is a huge Jets fan. He talks about the Jets incessantly on his show. And obviously they're not worthy of that much conversation because they've been terrible for a long time. So that was the Jets I was referencing. And yeah, Lindor's had starts like this before. He is not good until the weather turns. I would have given him yesterday off.
I did that on purpose. I somehow hit a button and the screen blew up and I couldn't do anything. And I'm like, okay, I got to leave. And I couldn't figure out how to fix it.
Okay. So when do you want to do your thing?
I can do it now. I can do it now, or I can do it next segment if you got something here. Because we can turn this into more if you want, and we can just do it as a segment.
All right. Well, let's do it next and see where it goes. Are you going to add the clock or no?
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That would have been bad.
Puck, I know what you're saying about the daughter, but first off, that's a lot of noise. She might have been spooked by it. She also has been told numerous times not to go under the ropes. So when dad's going, come here, she could be going, Mom's told me all day I can't go under the ropes.
A.m. to 9 a.m. right here on The Fan.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Chris Easterling to join us. And Mark Lai is going to join us as well in a little more than an hour. Okay. Calls have been made. Okay. Some get answered the night before, some get answered the morning of. So we'll get Mark Lai's thoughts now that the tournament has come and gone. His thoughts on Rory going back to back.
Do you text our guest every once in a while, like not about coming on the show, don't you?
Yes.
I don't. I feel like I'm invading their space. There's a couple that I will, that we've developed pretty good relationships for over the year. But I came as close, and I will tell Mark this, and I already mentioned it. When all of these guys, and Rory almost hits it into the water on 15, and not one announcer for 4 days pointed out that it was a downhill lie for that third shot and how difficult that is. And I'm like, we heard someone who played there who used to comment on this sport for a living. How, Trevor, do you not mention that? You are a past champion. That was probably the thing that bothered me the most. Because it's really relevant from a golf standpoint. Look, I'm not a good golfer. I'm an average golfer. But when you get a downhill lie, it's a harder shot.
I'm trying to figure out, did CBS just have a bad tournament? Or did the tournament disappoint all of us? Therefore, we're taking it out on CBS, because we've been doing this a while. And no one ever complains about the coverage of the Masters. No one. We've never done a show the Monday after the Masters where either one of us or the audience has complained about CBS's coverage of the Masters.
You and I, however, have complained about CBS's golf coverage in the last couple of years. So the golf coverage has been down. You add to that's some of the worst camera work I've ever seen at a Sunday at Augusta.
Well, we maybe have had our complaints, but at the same time, we say it is eons better than NBC. NBC's terrible at golf. I don't know if NBC is good at anything except the NFL anymore, to be honest. But I digress. But I mean, man, a lot of people are unhappy with a lot of different aspects of CBS's coverage of the Masters. And I'm trying to go, is this truly CBS, or are you disappointed that Sunday was largely boring and you got to take it out on somebody? So now you're yelling. I mean, Mark, we've had people in the Twitch chat room this morning. I have no idea what the text line is like, but I mean, nobody goes after Jim Nantz on golf. Okay, you go after Jim Nantz about football and basketball and Nantz and Romo, you go crazy. No, but you'd always end it by saying, stick to golf, you're the best, blah, blah, blah. Nantz is getting crushed. People wondering, where was he? Felt like they didn't hear him. Was he sick? I mean, so don't get me wrong. I've never seen CBS ever struggle to find the golf ball the way they struggled a handful of times yesterday to find the golf ball. Not that it's important or anything. It's only Rory off the 15th and the 18th tee. And for that matter, it's Cam Young off the 18th tee and his second shot on 18. Oh, and Rory's second shot on 18. It's not like these shots are important or anything.
So, David, I sent you a text yesterday because the morbid Miller and Moulton will remind the other or let the other know if someone important passes. And after that, quick little back and forth on Phil Gardner, I text you the following. When I tell you what I did today, you will either hug me or hate me. How's that for a tease?
Wow.
And you were impressed with the tease.
Yeah.
So let me get to it, David, because yesterday morning, I had a procedure on Friday. Everything went well. Everything's fine. But I had a central line in my chest where they put any things they were infusing me with or taking blood. They took that out, so I don't have 3 cords dangling from me anymore. And now I have a portent. So now I've got something stuck inside me for the next little while.
I got one of them.
So I was sore from it's minor surgery. They put me out. They said I was going to get a loopy and I could stay awake and get a buzz. And since I haven't had a drink since early December, I was kind of excited. But once they gave me whatever they gave me, I went out for like a light. There was no buzz. I just fell asleep. So it was like high school again. But so I've been walking every morning, and they said no strenuous exercise. And I don't know if walking is considered strenuous, but I try to walk as fast as I can for 4 miles. I'm like, you know what? I'll take a couple of days off. And so Sunday morning, I got up. Today was the day when I did the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then I went down to the computer at the Hope Lodge. There's a computer on every floor with a printer because I wanted to print some things out. And what I was printing out was draft information. And I already have some stuff. I've already got my draft order of all 7 rounds. I already have the top positional players. And then I printed out last year's first round just for a point of reference. And then I found some stuff on team needs that I strung together and put in a Word document and tidied that all up so each division's on one page and printed that up.
Wow.
Well, then, David, I took said pages and wrote down every team's picks because it has the number of picks of each of them. But, for instance, like Baltimore has 11 picks. I wrote down where each of those picks were, how many first rounders, how many second rounders, etc. And then every pick in the first 4 rounds, I actually wrote what number pick that is. Beyond that, I don't care. My other sheet that's got the order, I've got who's got 2 first-round picks, who's got 2 second-round picks, who doesn't have picks in the first and second round, who doesn't have picks in the third round, and how many picks they have. After that was done, David, I kind of started doing my own mock draft Sunday morning.
Whoa.
And I didn't start picking players because I really got confused after what Pat had talked about on Friday and what you and I have talked about is what is Arizona doing at 3? Would they take Luck? If they're high on Bell, for instance, the Texas Tech guy, and not Reese, the Ohio State guy, and let's just say the Jets take Bell, do the Cardinals then shift and take Love? And what kind of wrench does that throw in the draft? Then I'm writing notes down of teams in the top 10 that I think are the most likely to trade down because of later in the draft where they don't have picks. And I did this for every damn team, David. I spent from about 10 in the morning post-breakfast on Sunday until about the beginning of CBS coverage because I had the Paramount coverage on from noon to 2. But during the first hour of that, I'll be really honest with you, David, I was concentrating more on my own personal mock draft in my head.
Wow.
That's what happens when you lock me essentially in a building for a couple of months.
Yeah, I might lock you out of the building for the next 24 hours. That's how concerned I am.
I've rendered David damn near speechless with that. He and I have been working together for almost 20 years. We've gone through 1 million NFL drafts. One of the things that we really enjoy doing when we were in afternoons and a lifetime ago, it seems, it was one of our best shows that we put on. We'd get a beat writer from every team and let them do the draft. It was actually really good radio. Impossible to do in the morning because you're not getting West Coast guys. And we don't have the production capabilities now that we actually had then, even though we're a bigger show now. But yes, David, I was doing a mock draft. I even text Pat Kerwin. Hey, how far do you think this guy might slide? What's his floor?
Oh, no. First off, that's completely cheating. No.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Wow.
Cheating?
Yes.
Going to someone for information is cheating?
Well, going to Pat Kerwin, it is.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Phil, you got to start paying closer attention to the show. Not only did John and David not hate it, we were the ones who did it. Mark hated it. Mark literally said it was his only demand when we were deciding to join forces and do a show. He said, I hate it. It's the worst radio I've ever heard. I will not be a part of it. You have to agree right now to get rid of the fans mock draft. And that's when we replaced it with the beat writers mock draft, which took a lot more work. But in terms of quality content, Mark was right. Okay. It's probably the best shows we ever did.
It was a lot of work on the producer is really who it was the most work. It wasn't as much work on David and I because we have the list in front of us of who all the beat writers were. But this is when John was producing. He would have to call them, put them on hold about 4 picks ahead, have to go through all the picks because they're like, all right, John would be like, all right, who are you thinking? And they would give him a couple of, all right, he's gone, he went here, he's gone, he went here. Because they would then want to come on and go, well, if so-and-so was taken at 15, that's where we were thinking for this pick. But if he's gone, then I think they'll go in this direction. That's where, because we didn't just let them pick. We actually talked about not only who they picked, but what the thoughts were on the team and how David and I have done our draft show in the past. I don't really think that's where we got the idea from it, but that's where the beat writers would say, okay, well, I think they're taking this tackle, but if he's gone, then they've got to shift and do this. They could want to trade here, blah, blah, blah. I didn't start getting into specific players, but I do think that Styles may still be there for Cincinnati because I'm having trouble with the linebacker going 5 to the Giants. I think it's a bad pick, even though I've seen his name there. And that was the only thing I text Pat about because David's got in my head that he doesn't like him. So I did go to my expert and ask where a guy that David has been down on for a while, and he just has. I think that's a fair statement, right, David?
I do not want to see them take him. And there are a lot of people out there that think I'm an idiot and that he's going to be a phenomenal pro.
But man, that's a really high spot to take that position.
Now they have a need there. They do. They need a top corner. They need a top linebacker. They do.
They need a receiver. I mean, they need a lot of things. There's a reason why you pick fifth.
I would go offensive tackle.
And you could get the best one there. You know, if it goes quarterback, edge, running back, you're taking the first tackle on the board.
Yeah, I think Cincy could get really lucky. I think Bain could fall to them. I think Styles could fall to them.
Well, and you're right. You're right, Rotharian. I think that guard, and that's, you know, a lot of people think Baltimore will take him because they lost Linderbaum, and I know he's not a center, but they're inside of their line needs help now. So I think you're.
Yeah, Rotharian, I agree. The Bengals, Caleb Downs, between Styles, Bain, and Downs.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Chris Easterling will join us then. We'll talk a little Browns. They have 2 first-round picks, 6 and 24. The draft's in 10 days. Mark Lai is going to join us in an hour. We'll recap the Masters, which a lot of you are complaining about. More so than I think I could ever recall.
Right. We have not gotten a lot, although we have not solicited much on the Pelican Roofing of Florida. Text line 21,000 is the number. I will check it. We've been kind of going back and forth, so I've neglected it. A lot of people commenting on things that are not Masters related. Although when I got here this morning, the comments were positive, actually. One gentleman said, you know, I could have cared less about golf. The two of you got me watching the Masters and wanting to go hit range balls again. Wow. So love to hear that. But we've spent a lot of time talking about Rory back to back, where now he sits in the historic terms of golf. You mentioned it, you know, the Faldos, the Trevinos, the Mickelsons. Where is Rory now? And I guess the next thing for me to ask you, David, is, because we've kind of done that and we could do it again, but now what for Rory? You know, he's obviously, he got that bugaboo, that long stretch without a major, and then he wins the Masters, and now he wins it back to back. And he seemingly doesn't have the problem between his ears that he had during that long stretch when he would come close to winning majors and then not be able to. Let me just ask you this. Do you think he wins another one this year?
No, just because the odds are against him. You know, 2 majors in a year is difficult to pull off. Okay, although I think Scheffler did it just last year. But no, I would play the percentages and say no. And you could come back and go, percentages? He's one of the top 2 players of the world. I'll bet on him to win one of the next 3.
Well, and the other thing, David, is that I think he and Scheffler, I think there's clearly a gap. I think it's the 2 of them, and there's a gap. Now, anyone in that gap 3 from 20 can go play out of their mind and win any tournament. By the way, quick little sidebar. I didn't like the way he handled the media after playing poorly earlier this year, but Colin Morikawa yesterday was playing through a great deal of pain.
Yeah, he
played his butt off.
Yes, he did.
I mean, he really when he's hitting shots and you could 16, he hits it to what, 4 feet or whatever the hell he did. And you thought he hit a bad shot when they showed him. And I give my son credit. He's the one next to me. Man, he looks hurt. And he was, and he talked about it after, just mentally how important it was for him to get through that tournament and play the way he did. He said something to the effect of, it's one thing to walk with back problems because you know where it's coming. He said, but when it's coming, when you strike the golf ball and, the fear of committing to a shot, you talked about Rose earlier, not committing to that iron shot on 11. Well, when you think your back's going to go out anytime you hit a golf ball, it's really difficult to commit to the shot. And I give Colin Morikawa all the credit in the world for a terrific round yesterday, doing it through a lot of pain.
Couldn't agree more. And it shows you, would he have done that for the Valero Texas Open? No, there's no doubt in any of our minds that he wouldn't have. But, you don't WD a major unless you can't swing the club. Not it's going to hurt every time you swing the club, but you can't swing it. That's when you WD a major. This ain't the NBA here. This is the major championship in golf. But just a historical perspective about Rory. Okay, this is who he passed yesterday. He was in the 5 major club. Okay, in terms of his contemporary, he was tied with Koepka. Now there's not it's tough to consider Phil a contemporary. Okay, first off, he's in his mid-50s. Secondly, he doesn't even play on tour anymore. Now he's still got another year or two where he can play in every major. But also right now he or someone in his family is not well and, he didn't play. He's only played 1 LIV tournament and he didn't play the Masters. So, but also Seve had 5. And even though Faldo has 6, Mark, there are an awful lot of golfers, okay, and Europeans who think Seve was the best. Okay, he only had 5 majors, but they think Seve was the best. Faldo ended up with 6. And Mark, have you ever heard of any European golfer say Faldo was better than Seve?
No. So for a European golfer to now have more majors than Seve and be tied with Faldo, 12th all time, by the way, is 6th. Trevino, Faldo, Mickelson, and now Rory. So now he's got 2 green jackets. If you get to 3, that's rarefied air at Augusta. Now you're talking about barely 2 handfuls. In fact, I don't even know. Yes, you just need, I think, a finger on your other hand. That's how few have won 3 green jackets. So, but anyway, he's also at mid-20s tour wins. Trevino was mid-20s. Johnny Miller was mid-20s. Think about the career he's at. He's in his mid-30s. But tied in majors with Trevino, Faldo, and Mickelson. Sam Snead, Gene Sarazen, Arnold Palmer, Bobby Jones, Harry Vardon. They're next. He can win 1 more and get to 7. He's in the top 7 all time. And remind you get beyond 7. And David, I thought yesterday, at least I was thinking this, is that when he got the lead back yesterday, I'm not trying to compare him to a Jack or a Tiger. I'm really not. But with his contemporaries and Scotty being out in front and not making birdies, I'll remove Scotty from what I'm saying because it doesn't affect him. But everyone else seemed to have a problem making shots with Rory in the lead. Now, was that just the effects of the Masters and the pressure, or was it the fact of the Masters, the pressure, and who they were chasing at that point? Because after he made the birdie at 12, who did anything? The rest of the tournament. Who made a good shot after he made the birdie on 12? You know, Rose, I think, had already made his second on 13. He hears the roar on 12. He three putts. He was pressing so hard to make that eagle, he blew it 4 feet past the hole. So I just thought the pressure of the Masters and the pressure of who was leading the Masters affected that tournament yesterday.
And I thought that the back nine's harder than it's ever been before. I mean, we saw a lot of lower scores on the front nine than the back nine, and that's not how that course is historically played.
You're right, but Morikawa, Hatton, there were guys making birdies on the back nine yesterday.
There were a couple. There were a couple. They weren't really in it, though. It's a lot easier to make birdies when you're not really in it.
I agree. All I'm saying is that they were there for some guys and no one that was around the lead.
No.
And Young had opportunities throughout the back nine. He couldn't make a putt.
Yep.
He had good opportunities.
Yep. No question. And obviously playing with Rory, would it have changed the scenario? It surprised me that Justin Rose, when he was 12 under and in the middle of the 11th fairway, if you had said to me, 11 and a half under, over under right now, I would have bet a large amount of money over. I did not think that he was going to play the final 8 holes 2 over par. I didn't. In fact, when he was standing in the middle of the 11th, I thought, I'll be damned. I'll be damned, Moulton. What did I text you? I said, I'm rooting like hell for him, and I'm kicking myself at the same time because I really thought he was going to seriously contend and might win, and I didn't have the guts at the end to pick him.
I was definitely rooting for him. He deserves it. He seems like a genuinely good guy. He's an easy guy to root for, but that shot on 11 stunned me.
Stunned him, and it affected him. And then the tee shot on 12, he said, I shouldn't have missed that.
But to me, David, if Rory's in the middle of 11 and hits it over there after having hit it in the water the day before, you can understand that. You know what I mean? Right. It's like, okay, he's guarding against going left. Well, Rose didn't hit it in the water the day before. And, I get being on the right side of the green. I understand. No one goes for the pin there. You just play it to the right side of the green. You take your 2 putt and you go to the next tee.
Also, remember, Rose chased Rory down last year. Now, Rory had to falter, bogeying 18, but Rose chased him down. Shot a really good back nine, made a couple of birdies coming in. Justin Rose, that's probably the worst back nine I've seen him play when he's had a big-time shot to win a major in a long time. So he probably has the second best all-time record at the Masters without winning it. Weiskopf second 4 times is still, I think, the leader in the clubhouse. But he's got 3 seconds. That's a T3. He's got a few more that are right there. Even though he wasn't a co-leader, he's got all those rounds where he's been in the lead or co-lead. It's like top 10 all time, and yet he hasn't won. I thought the tournament was his to lose in the middle of the fairway at 11, and he helped lose it.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. Look at the scores, though, of the players on the back nine. Of the guys in and around the lead, there was 134.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, and that was Scheffler, shot 34 on the backside. No one else did a damn thing.
I do think, though, at Augusta, they take inventory after every tournament. They take inventory of everything. I'm sorry Phil was the one who said it. I wish it was unsaid. But I wonder if they now have made 13 and 15 just a touch too long to take away the go mentality that everybody had when they played that hole. It was, of course, I'm going for it in 2. I'm going to grip it, rip it, find it, rip it again. And it played so long now. I mean, there were guys at 230 plus into 15 that I remember thinking, why are you going for this? I mean, Jason Day was like 239 on Saturday. I'm like, dude, you're in contention. What are you doing? Okay. And sure enough, he got lucky. That ball somehow hung up and didn't roll back in. I mean, he came up short though, and somehow it didn't go into the pond. But I mean, the course is playing as long as it's ever played. 7 used to be a dead straight 400-yard par 4. Thin, narrow, dead straight. Now 7 is like what, 455? Same hole.
And I think the other point that you made, because the length, I believe, will stay somewhat, but the pin placements on 14 and on 17, they have spots they can put it where it's easier to make birdie, if you know what I mean.
17 yesterday was absurd. I'm sorry. If the whole field goes through and doesn't make a birdie, the whole field, that was a bad pin placement. That's on them.
It's the same spot on 18, and I know 18 is an unbelievably difficult hole, but no one made, we've seen birdies to win on 18. No one really had much of a putt on 18. I mean, we could stay on this all day, David, but here's my other question for you. Do you think one of these D tackles is going to sneak into the back end of the first round?
Here we go. We have got to get you home. We have got to, I agree with Robes in the Twitch chat room. We have got to get Mark back to his regular life. This is frightening. I am very concerned. I'm not impressed. I'm concerned. I'm sure you thought I would be impressed. Okay. But this is not who you are. Okay. You are changing. And we've got 3 weeks, and we got to get you out of there. You got to go back. You got to go back. We don't need 2 goobers on this show. We don't need 2 people who don't have a life. This show counts on you for many things. And now some of us are very concerned, calling Pat Kerwin to see how far, from what you're hearing, how far is a guy going to fall in the draft? Because I'm doing my own mental mock draft over the weekend right now. Very concerned.
How many edge rushers? I mean, we've got edge rushers that could slip. The kid from Miami, could he drop down even out of the first round? David, there's so many questions I have. We'll talk Browns and try to get some answers next.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com.
Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
EPA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Boy, Michael, you're a hell of a nice guy because you don't ever say anything that's out of line in here. And then you try to bring back maybe the worst person that's ever been in the chat room. As if cancer wasn't bad enough, I got to deal with you. Well, you think you're funny, so keep it up. And the goober's going to continue because I won't have a drink until, next February. So, there's no two bourbons at 5 o'clock with my wife and me wanting to go to bed. When I start breaking down baseball, then you can all get really worried.
It's true. He hasn't gotten to a pitching staff yet. So there is that.
Never will be, Panda. I have no interest. And that's at the earliest, Clark. That's at the very earliest. It may be maybe February. The nurses have said February of 27. The doctor says February of 28. And if they don't let me have edibles, it's going to be a long effing 2 years. But I'll take life over liquor. Pretty easy trade-off, kids.
Chris is ready to go.
Awesome.
Great.
And one of our listeners sent me 2 really good bottles of bourbon, too.
Who are you giving them to?
Nobody.
Oh, okay.
He lost his sister to cancer, and his brother-in-law works for a high-end bourbon company, and they did a specific bourbon for her where they give some of the money or give all the proceeds to cancer research, I believe. So I told him, I said, I'll crack one with you whenever I'm allowed to have it.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
We are halfway home, at least in Jacksonville and Tampa St. Pete. Final hour of the show in the 239. Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte, Venice areas, Live Oak Lake City and surrounding areas, Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Mark Lai in 35 minutes to recap the Masters. Rory making some more history at Augusta by going back to back. But we want to focus on the teams we think will be the most interesting in the draft. And say whatever you want about the Browns, but they have been interesting, and they're one of 5 teams with multiple first-round picks at 6 and 24. Chris Easterling covers the Browns for the Akron Beacon Journal. You can follow Chris on X, the letter C, Easterling ABJ. C, Easterling ABJ for the Akron Beacon Journal. Chris, it's David and Mark. Good morning. How are you?
Just fine. Morning. How you guys doing?
Well, we are doing fine. Before we get to the Browns, I just want to ask you, as a Kentucky, as a UK alum, how you doing? I mean, Indiana wins a football title. Okay, your basketball program is not what you want it to be. Are you okay? Do you need to pick me up? You know, do we need to call you monthly? How's it going?
I'm doing okay. You know, I knew it was problematic. I knew it was going to be a long March run when I was getting ready to listen to they're going to play Florida on Senior Day at Rupp, and you know you really want to get the crowd going. And George Michael's "Careless Whisper" is playing over the PA. I'm like, you know what? I'm never going to dance again.
That's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic.
Hey, you know, it's a new era in college sports, but I'm hanging in there. You know, I'm hanging in there.
Gotcha. Never going to dance again, but hanging in there. Good for you.
All right. So the Browns have 3 picks out of the first 39. I did more draft homework this weekend than I may have in the 20 years that I've done a radio show with my co-host. But for the Browns, I've been overanalyzing. With the Browns, I really didn't. They need offense. They need a tackle. They need a wide receiver. So set up the draft from what you think the Browns need to do.
Well, a tackle and wide receiver is absolutely, if they come out of the first day with a tackle and a wide receiver, I would give it an A, you know, just at the moment. You know, obviously the players have to go out and play eventually, but just in terms of what they need to get, tackle, wide receiver, 100%. I might even say tackle and if they can come out with that Toledo safety, Manuel McNeil Warren, I'd be fine with that, because if there's one spot on the defense where maybe they can use a little help, safety is there. But I don't care what order it is. I do sort of, because I think the top of the tackle group is a little better than the top of the wide receiver group. But regardless, tackle, wide receiver, call it a day. That's what I would like to see them do. Now, I do think they're thinking, can we get somebody interested in coming up here at 6? Can we, maybe not replicate the Jacksonville deal they did last year, but get some more picks and move back a little bit, where maybe, taking a more, a Freeling, or, maybe the early, 11 to 15, somewhere in there they can fall, and, maybe the value's a little better, because Freeling at 6, I don't know, but Freeling at 12, I think that's a perfect spot.
Yeah, Dallas at 12, the Rams at 13. Those are two teams that can be aggressive, and that, who knows, maybe, just maybe, you could talk them into moving up. Chris, I'm of the belief that, I think it was the Niners back in 81 where they had Montana and Clark and the offense was developing, and Bill Walsh just spent like the first 4 rounds drafting defense. Their defense was terrible. They needed as many good players as they could find. And it turns out they got 3 really good ones. But I mean, to me, if I'm the Browns, if I just went with the 4 best offensive players on the board at the time I was picking at 6, 24, 39, and whatever the next one is, would you criticize me too much?
No, I mean, I think today was my 12th. I've done one weekly since like mid-January. A mock draft, and I know there's been multiple times where I look in, I'm 7 picks in, and I'm like, all I've done is pick offensive players, whether it's offensive linemen, wide receivers, I think they still need a little bit of running back depth. Tight end, they need help, with Njoku leaving and really Harold Fanta not really being a true hand in the dirt inline tight end. So no, I wouldn't, that would not surprise me at all. But Andrew Berry, I mean, last year we thought, well, you just go offense. And he turns around and he goes Mason Gray and Carson Schlesinger with the first 2 picks. Now, granted, I think both those picks were, Schlesinger especially, were outstanding picks. But definitely, I think there has to be the onus has to be on the offense.
All right. I love the idea that you have of trading with Dallas at 12, because if there's an edge rusher still there, I could see Dallas going up and wanting to get him. The problem is Dallas doesn't have a 2nd round pick. So do you think, would Cleveland make that move for draft capital in 27? I mean, this is still a rebuild.
Absolutely.
I know people, okay, that to me is, if you're trading with the Dallas, you got to take draft capital down the road, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was the big question. I know a couple of weeks ago I was out in Phoenix for the annual meetings, and we sat down with Andrew Berry, and that was one of the big questions we wondered, because everybody's talking about this quarterback class in 27. Of course, we talked about the quarterback class in 26 until we saw them play in 25, and we all know how this goes. Our people are going to be a little bit more gun shy to deal high picks, first, 2nd round picks in 27 because of the depth that potentially could be in that quarterback class. And he didn't think so. He thought they'd still be willing to move picks to get who they need this year because it's in the moment. But I absolutely think they'd be more than happy, because they do see this as a multi-year rebuild. Even if they're not using the word rebuild, it's a rebuild. I mean, call it what it is. And the more picks, the more potential that you have to hit on some real transformative players.
Chris Easterling covers the Browns, Akron Beacon Journal. Follow him on X, the letter C, Easterling ABJ. C, Easterling ABJ. Is there anything at all going on with Myles Garrett and the Browns? Or is he just a 30-year-old veteran who doesn't want any part of anything before training camp? But he's okay being in Cleveland. He doesn't want to be traded. I'm just curious. Is there anything going on between the Browns and Myles Garrett?
I don't want to say there's nothing going on, because we haven't heard from Myles since that day in Cincinnati at the end of the season. Look, couple things. One, it is weird, the contract restructuring they did, modification, whatever you want to call it, that really does make it easier to trade him in the summertime, much more cap friendly. But this is like the third year in a row Myles Garrett hasn't shown up for off-season program. That's just sort of Myles. Myles, and he didn't show up in off-season program last year. Did show up for mandatory mini camp, and then on day one of training camp, went out and immediately looked like one of the three best players on the planet and carried that all the way through. I think there's sort of an understanding in the locker room, even though you want your leader there, especially with a new head coach, new defense coordinator, you want him in there. But I think there's also an understanding that, look, Miles is going to be ready to go. Miles isn't going to not be ready to play. Everybody trusts Miles to be ready to play. And also, one thing that doesn't get mentioned is Myles Garrett has a no-trade clause. So that complicates things in that you got a Venn diagram. Teams that would be willing to give the Browns what they rightfully would demand for a player of Myles Garrett's caliber, and teams that Myles Garrett would approve a trade to. How big is that where those two circles intersect? Because that's really the question is how many teams could really fall in that where Miles would waive his no trade.
Gotcha.
And the Browns could get 2 firsts, because that's where it starts. 2 firsts, and then you go from there. And I just wonder how many teams really fall in that category.
We got about a minute. If they take tackle with their first pick, who's the receiver that they want to hit on at the end of the first round? Or if this guy's gone, they'll wait and maybe try to get a guy like Bell from Louisville in the second round. To come full circle, you mentioned Indiana football early. How about Omar Cooper? I think that's a player that they really like it, that they've had in for a visit, and I think he sort of fits that player you could give at 24, who could come in and really help your football team immediately.
If he gets by the Jets at 16, I definitely think he's in play. He's Chris Easterling, Akron Beacon Journal, covering the Browns. Chris, thanks for your time and your insight. As always, safe travels with the draft, and we'll talk soon.
Hey, thanks again for having me on.
Chris Easterling, Akron Beacon Journal, talking Browns here on Miller and Moulton. Chris and all our guests joined us on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
You have a favorite Wham song, David?
That was such a great reference. I hope everybody got it.
Oh, boy, that's something. I will say the George Michael Faith video with all the models might have been one of the best videos ever made. I'm going to go out on a limb and say top 5 video of all time.
Yeah, not a lot of ugly people in that video.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
And yes, it was freedom. That's my bad. I'm going to correct that coming out of the break. I realized it right after I said it. You're absolutely right, Mello. Jeez Louise. That would be interesting. They got the two number one picks, Clark, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. But I don't think Bailey's going to be there for the Browns at 6. I mean, then you're assuming, Clark, that that the Cardinals are going to take Love, and that Tennessee doesn't take. I mean, Bailey could go 2. I mean, there's a lot of people that think Bailey will go before Reese. So I'm one of them, by the way. I don't think you can get Bailey at 6. I don't. If he's there, it makes sense. Okay, but the third best edge rusher is Bain. And Bain could very well be there for Kansas City. I mean, hell, there's talk of Bain being there at 11 for Miami. Yes, he did, Drutharian. And Limp Bizkit covered that. David, sorry, but I was hovering. I was taking the cursor to hover over the break, and somehow I pressed it. I didn't even mean to do that.
Oh, I don't care. You know that.
But it was not on.
I don't think Bailey will be there at 6.
Bailey might not be there at 3. I mean, that's where that was my own mock draft. What if Arizona wants Bailey and doesn't want Reese?
Yeah, very quickly, by the way, this story on Bain is not new. This was 2 years ago. The matter was adjudicated. He was not charged. Okay. This is a guy wanting clicks who brought this up all weekend, and now he's gotten a bunch of media outlets to pick up on it. Okay. Everybody has known about this for 2 years.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Now you're affecting me. I'm just going to let you know that. And I don't mean you, the audience. I mean my co-host, Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. You know that I don't like to think about the brackets all that intently in the first 24 to 36 hours they come out. You know that I don't want to get mock draft heavy 10 days out, but you falling under the spell of the 2026 NFL draft is beginning to impact me, because now during commercial breaks, all I'm doing is considering, well, what if the tackle that the Browns really want, the Giants take at 5? And then are they going to go tackle at 6? There's really no wide receiver they should take at 6. Okay. And the running back will probably be gone. So there's really no player they'll have at 6. Will somebody trade up and want somebody that they can trade down and get better value? And now that was my entire commercial break. And then same thing is there going to be, if they go lineman early, will there be a receiver that they really like that falls to them at 24? Or all those receivers, are they going to go between 13 and 23? And blah, 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 and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah.
Let me see if I can help you out, David. I made a mistake going to break, and I apologize. The song with the video is not Faith, it's Freedom. So let's clarify that right from the get-go.
Okay.
Maybe you can start singing Careless Whisper again. We've got Mark Lai coming up in 15 minutes time. So there's plenty for you to sink your teeth around. But I think those are all really relevant questions. And David, let me just add one more. If there's an edge guy there that the Chiefs want, are they the team? We mentioned the Cowboys in the interview, but would the Chiefs with the 2 first-round picks move up to where the Browns are? Because the Browns could slide to 9 and maybe get the Georgia lineman there. How about that?
Exactly. By the way, just for the record, the music that's in my head right now is the ESPN draft selection music. Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da. Okay, whatever that little jingle that they play, that 3 to 5 second, that's what's in my head. Every time I think about a player and a pick, I literally have the ESPN draft jingle in my head before I decide who I'm going to take. This is a problem.
And I think I could be overreading my co-host here. But after doing my draft homework for the first time, David, first off, was disgusted with me when I brought it up. And then when we started our interview with Chris Easterling and I mentioned tackle or wide receiver, I think David believes Love's the candidate there because he shook his head no at me. He was pissed off with my analysis of the Cleveland draft right from the get-go, and that made me happy.
No, I was just shaking my head going, listen to how detailed this first question is. We don't normally, you've got but then if this guy goes and then will they have to transition and go this route and bada bing. I'm like, my goodness, the first track, that's just so fast. You are swimming in it. You are swimming in the big pond, and it just says 2026 NFL draft. We got to get you home. We got to get you in that pool. We got to get you on a raft. Okay, we got to get I know it won't be an alcoholic drink, but we need to put something in your hand that is the color drink that you're used to and a stupid umbrella in it, or either that or whatever it is you put in with your hard liquor, whatever, the lime, a lemon, okay, I don't know, a cement mixer, whatever. Just, oh my goodness.
You are fired up for this draft, and what's really amazing to me is that I think this draft will be phenomenal the more of a goober you are. I think this is a total goober draft. Think about it. One running back likely in the first round, one quarterback likely in the first round, one tight end likely in the first round. Okay,
and one receiver in the top probably 12 to 15 picks.
Right.
I mean, the other receivers, your group of receivers, well, Lemon could go in the top 12, but beyond that, you've got a group of guys that are expected to go, between 18 and 32, right? I mean, is that safe to say?
Yeah, I think the Rams are a candidate at 13. I don't know if one goes before that, but yes. But I mean, this is a total goober draft. This is a Daniel Jeremiah draft.
I mean, New Orleans could take a receiver, but just saying. Do you know what happened? You know why? You haven't really thought about it, but there's a reason why all of this happened.
Well,
when this happened, David? This happened Saturday night around 8:00.
Saturday night at 8:00.
The Masters coverage is over.
Oh, I know what happened.
See, you just hadn't put one and one together.
So we have the Detroit Red Wings to blame for this?
Another third period lead blown.
Well, that's
Captain Dylan Larkin.
Well, that's
is covering for a defenseman, David. They're, the leader, the captain that everybody loves, is covering for Edmondson, who pinched in on a play, and Larkin goes to try to pinch in and play a puck 2-on-1 the other way. All of a sudden, they blow the lead again, and Dylan Larkin is to blame for the fourth goal. It's his fault. He admitted so. The coach threw him under the bus. That's what happened, David. Even my son, who planned this trip to take care of me, my son's here as my caregiver. We've had a wonderful time. He's going back home today, or he's going back to Southwest Florida today, flying back to North Carolina tomorrow. The plan was, and why he stayed through today, is that the Lightning are hosting the Red Wings tonight. He was expecting to go to the game. We were ready to buy tickets. We had some people reach out who were going to help us get tickets. Once they were eliminated from the playoffs, he's picking his sister up from school today. That's what he's doing.
Gotcha.
The Dead Wings are back. The torch has been passed. Buffalo handed the torch to Detroit. The longest drought in the sport. Take Hockeytown off center ice, fire everybody. They don't deserve to have Hockeytown associated with that team. Well, not at all. If they put it on the ice next year, I won't watch a game. It's a joke. Okay. They're a joke. Iserman's a joke. You can leave his number up in the rafters, but get him the hell. You know what they're going to do, David? They're going to promote him. They're going to promote him to team president and put Chris Draper as the GM. Like anything's going to change. They're the same two guys. Unbelievable. It's an absolute and utter joke. Go Lightning. Let's go Bolts. Let's get these playoffs started.
I would like to apologize to everyone. I didn't fully understand the emotional toll that Steve Yzerman and the Detroit Dead Wings have taken on Mark. I should have realized it 10, 11 weeks in isolation. Okay. And when he started, the Wings were in the playoffs by over 10 points. Okay. And I should have realized it. Okay. I'd like to apologize to everyone. Okay. I should have been more understanding earlier in this 10, 11 week process. Because yes, this has been coming. And usually it was just stayed between texts. Okay. But now obviously it burst, it exploded. It's out in the open and there's no bringing it back.
So I don't know. Does Caden McDonald jump back into the first round? Would someone take a chance on a kid like Banks from Florida? There's a lot of different, what receiver is there that you're going to take a chance on if you're Kansas City with it? Would you take Bell late in the first round? He's a first round talent, David, but he got hurt. So can we just get back to talking about the draft? Okay.
I understand.
You want to talk about Chris Sale and his starts? I mean, the Marlins just got swept, but the Rays swept the damn Yankees. They don't ever do that. What a weekend for the Rays.
Right. Yeah, now you're getting with the program. There you go. Okay.
Seeing the glass is half full. There are stories out there. I would take both Florida linemen, by the way, late first round. I like them more than, apparently they're both projected mid-second round. I like them. I think they're both going to be good players. And you know me, I don't care when you draft them, honestly. Well, you drafted him too soon. What are you talking about? He played 8 years for me in the league. Give me a break.
We're going to look back on the Masters. Mark Lye next, Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Well, Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Yinzer, I wish I could do a Kuiper impression. I would. I don't know about Tretherian Cincy getting McDonald in the second round, but could they get Banks in the second round and they might get the better player? But they can definitely, if they want a D tackle, they can definitely get a D tackle in the second round there. I think. You know, Banks is a top 50 rated player. I think he's there. I think the guy, who's the other guy that I was with? There's one from Georgia. So I definitely think you can get an interior guy at where are they? 41.
RCB, I'm with you. Also, Cash came out at the beginning of in spring training and said, we're going to do a lot of small ball. They have to. They traded away Lau and Lowe.
Right. Camanero's it. I mean, there's not a lot of power in that. And then what the center fielder
Diaz.
they got.
Yeah, Diaz and Caminero are basically, if everybody else hits long balls, that's great. But no, they've got speed, they've got youth, they've got athleticism. He said, we're going to have to play to that.
Mark's ready to go.
Great. By the way, David, not only did they boo him after the empty net goal, when they do the teams now all do that salute. I mean, they're booing them. And they deserved it.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the bonus hour of Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Mark Lai joined us at the beginning of the Masters, joins us now to wrap it up. All right. Former player, longtime broadcaster. How you doing? Did you enjoy the Masters?
Yeah, I pretty much enjoyed it. I'm going to be honest with you. I used to be a Rory fan, but I'm not so much anymore. And I was disappointed at the finish, but it was still a great event. I think some guys really had some shots at it, namely Justin Rose. I mean, he's got to be he's got to feel awful. And, it's Rory kind of made it into a dogfight out there. I mean, at one point he's a couple back, and then he makes a couple of quick birdies, and then he did what he needed to do on the back nine, which is just win by one. So good job, Rory. Credit where credit is due. But I know a lot of guys had some shots. Cameron Young, even Scotty, But hey, it was a great event, judging by the finish, and I'm glad it wasn't a blowout like we thought it was going to be on Friday. Aren't you guys happy that it was contested on the weekend?
No, absolutely. And Mark, I thought Saturday was amazing. Because Rory didn't play great, and guys are making shots and they're making birdies and they're getting back in it. But I started going through what guys shot on the back nine yesterday, and I think of I'll take Hatton and Morikawa out because they were so far back that it was almost impossible for them to win. But of the guys that were in contention, I think Scheffler was one of the only ones that was under par on the back nine. And I'll ask you, David and I have been kind of going back and forth all morning on this. Was the course playing too hard, which is what he's contesting, and he very well may be right, and I'm not saying it's Tiger-esque, but for whatever reason, once Rory, to me, made the birdie on 12, guys puckered a little bit out there, and I was surprised by that. So was the course playing maybe a little bit too hard, or did guys just succumb to the nerves of the back nine at Augusta? Because we just didn't see the birdies like we normally see.
I honestly, you have to be there playing it to really understand. It is an intimidating place, knowing that one little slip up and you could be out of it. I mean, I can tell you how in the past, the 12th hole, the 11th hole, even the 13th hole, the 15th hole, there are just X's waiting for you. Okay. Even the 15th hole, that seems kind of an innocuous par five if you just look at it on the scorecard. But when you play that hole, like Scotty Scheffler, I mean, he hit great shots every day into that green. Okay, on his second shot, he didn't even sniff the putting surface. This is a guy that's one of the best iron players ever. And then you start getting in Sunday nerves, and the course, even though it was at the edge, it didn't violate. It wasn't crazy like we've seen some courses get away from them because they get them too hard and too fast. I felt like it was playable. I mean, it's just basically back nine on Sunday at Augusta National. I can just tell you, when I was in the hunt, that hole just shriveled up on me. I mean, it just, the front nine's one thing, but you get to the back nine and the gravity of the whole situation, guys. You don't think Greg Norman puckered up? You don't think Jack puckered up a little bit? Tiger, Tiger's, he's blown it a couple of times. The King, Arnold Palmer, he blew it a couple times, but we're talking about back in the 60s, another century. But still, it's just the nature of this place that kind of does it to you.
I have to admit, though, I was a little surprised when Justin Rose was 12 under in the middle of the 11th fairway that he didn't finish at least 12 under, and that he acknowledged, and I am so appreciative of his honesty, in which he said, man, I was really rolling, and for whatever reason, I lost my commitment on the second shot on 11, and it was the perfect yardage. And he said, and then it affected me. And I mean, that's 45-year-old major champion, Ryder Cup hero. He's got the best or second best record all time at that course, having never won there, Rose. And he faltered in that spot. I think it goes back to what you were talking about, that it's really difficult for us to comprehend.
Here's the thing about golf, and this is why other athletes really like playing the game. Of great athletes from other sports, baseball players, football players, basketball players with Steph Curry and some of these guys. The difference between a good shot and a bad shot is a thought. I mean, you can throw technique out. I mean, you can be the best damn ball striker in the world and just have a miscellaneous thought come in there and just kind of like stick. And that's what happened. And if it didn't happen to Justin on 11, it could have happened, it probably happened on 12. And you never know. Look at what Seve did the year that he had a green light on the 15th hole. I mean, he hadn't fatted a shot like that into a par five since he was 15 years old. And that place, and that was even after Seve had won a couple. So, the place just has it. Once you drive up Magnolia Lane, it's like, okay, everything I learned in the past, it don't matter anymore. This is a completely different golf course, a completely different mental state that you have to get in, because the first time, David, Mark, that I played that, I played it a week before, and I basically said, this is the hardest place on the planet. Okay? And it just, you have to adjust. You have to adjust. Look, Rory, for all the great shots he hit and all the poor shots that he hit, let me tell you, the one that won it for him was the chip shot on 17, a very innocuous little shot, but he was 10 feet below the surface of the green, and he chipped that sucker up like it was nothing. I mean, could you have even gotten the club on the ball? He's got a 2-shot lead. We've heard of all kinds of players in the past, like Kenny Perry had a 2-shot lead with 2 holes to go. Bogeyed 17 and 18. Ed Sneed,
Tiger. Was 2 up. It went bogey in 05.
There you go. So I was thinking, okay, he missed the green on 17. He owns 18, Rory does, but 17, not so much. But he chipped that sucker up stone dead, and I said, well, then he wants to win this sucker, because that was the one. It's the little shots that make the difference. I remember when Olafable won it the second time. He hooked the crap out of it on 17, and he hit this little slithering little shot out from under the pine straw. it crept up on the front edge. He was able to make par and win the golf tournament on 17. So, there's history here. And all these guys that have played yesterday, they know the history. And so, are they going to be part of history that people remember or part that they forget? And I'm sure Kenny Perry hasn't forgotten what he did that year. And I think he ended up losing in the playoff to
Cabrera, I think, yeah.
Yeah. But, you're thinking of history. You win the Masters, it's history. And same with all the other majors. So, but I think it's even more so at Augusta National. And you just ask Greg Norman. I mean, he had that thing in his pocket 4, 5, 6 times and couldn't get it done. So, guys, I'm sad. I mean, this is basically a recovery week. Now what do we do? Go walk Hilton Head?
I'm with you. I'm with you 100% there. Mark, we've been a little critical, David and I, of the coverage. And I guess I was thinking of what you said to us last week. And they never said it throughout the week, but particularly Saturday or Sunday. You talked about the third shot on 15 and how difficult that shot is because you have a downhill lie. And, David and I both play golf. David doesn't anymore. I still play. I'm an average golfer at best. I know how difficult just a downhill lie is anywhere. I'm not hitting into that tiny little green. And we watched player after player. And I wish Trevor Immelman would have brought it up. But I was thinking about what you talked to us about last week, just how tough that shot is and the trouble those guys had executing that shot. And I didn't blame one guy because I'm going, well, Mark Fly just got done telling us how hard this is. And I was thinking of our conversation throughout the weekend, watching guys trying to make birdie from the fairway on 15.
Can't do it. I mean, it's a 1 in 10 shot. If you get 10 shots at it, you may get it within 5 feet or 4 feet. But I hate to see the other shots. I mean, we've seen Tiger dumping in there. We've seen Vijay Singh dumping in there. I've seen some great. I saw Bernhard Langer dumping in there. I mean, everybody who's anybody in golf has dumped that ball in there or knocked it over the green and had an impossible chip. So, yeah. And then, we watched Freddie Couples in round 1. The guy's 2 under par with 4 holes to go. He's got to be saying, oh, my gosh, I can't believe it. 66 years old. And all of a sudden, bingo, he shoots 78.
Well, Mark, we were 18 inches away from Rory dumping that. That's the thing about this shot. It was 103 to the pin for Rory. He barely hit that wedge 90 yards. I mean, those guys never miss a wedge by 15 yards. He barely hit that 90 yards.
Exactly. And so that's when you're thinking leak a little oil. Remember last year what he did? He couldn't hit the green from on 13.
Right. Oh,
he had
I know.
Little slip wedge in there. He puts it in freaking Ray's Creek from 60 yards. So look, this course, this title, it makes you do things that are out of body. You can hit that shot 1,000 times, and all of a sudden that little thing creeps into your brain. Ooh, what about that? And if you're thinking that the wrong time, maybe that's why he backed off a lot of shots. That's, because sometimes those little nasty thoughts get in there and you say, okay, I got to reframe on this thing. So on 15, I guarantee you, if you're walking up there and you're thinking that you've got it made because you laid it up in a perfect yardage to 15, maybe 80 and 90 yards is your perfect, number, forget it. You still have to hit the shot, and that makes it just that much tougher when you've got a downhill lie to an uphill thin blade of a target.
So historically for Rory, this gets him to 6. Now you're in the Phil Faldo Trevino category. 2-time Masters champion. A lot of guys have won it once. Once you start having multiple green jackets, only the 4th to repeat. I mean, are we, there's an argument as to whether Phil's top 10 all time. I'm a Phil guy, but I think he's top 15. Rory's trying really hard to be top 10 all time here, isn't he?
Yeah, it's just a matter of time for him now. I mean, he got over the hurdle. I mean, what was it, 10 years in between majors for him? And now that he's in his, approaching mid-30s, I don't know exactly how old he is. He's got a lot of gray hair for being 35 if he is that old. But that's what this game will do to you, or you lose it. But I think it's, it all depends on Rory. Does he just want to sit back and relax? Probably not. He could have done that already. But I got to give him credit. He took this golf tournament. I guess Justin Rose didn't want it. I guess, or maybe wanted it too much. And Cameron Young, I thought he was the guy, but the end of the front nine just killed him yesterday. And that's the thing. Even the easy holes are not easy. Is that a yogiism or what? The easy holes aren't even easy. I mean, that's Augusta National. You can make X on every damn one of them. But still, it was a good Masters. Wasn't a runaway. And I'm thankful that the tradition holds, and they did a good job with it. I think Augusta National, they made the course very difficult but fair, because when guys are shooting 67, 68, you can't say, oh, it was unfair. So Saturday and Sunday, it gave up some birdies, and they could have made it unplayable on the weekend, which I've seen them do before. So kudos to those guys.
Rory, by the way, turns 37 in 3 weeks.
There we go. Wow.
So, yeah, I know.
Still a lot of gray hair. I'm with you, Mark.
Gotta pick on the guy somewhere, okay? Because he seems to have everything going his way right now. Hey, Mark, thanks for doing this. All the best to you and the family. Let's talk around the PGA.
You got it, guys. Have a great week.
Mark
Thank
Lai,
you, too.
longtime golfer, analyst, friend of the show. Thrilled to have him as part of Miller and Moulton. Joining us on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
So the PGA is at a course that hasn't hosted a major since 1962. They've had a FedEx tournament there, I think, 8 years ago or so, a playoff tournament. But it's not. Gary Player won the PGA there in 1962.
Wow.
That's a pretty big gap in today's world for a major to go back to a course.
Is this that Texas course?
No, this is in Pennsylvania. Aronimink.
Oh, gotcha. All right.
Miller and Moulton.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
PA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
That would have been funny, JB. So where did that did that noise come through Mark Lai? Or was that somehow
Yeah,
through
Rick,
us?
was it, we got a little echo. Did you turn the station on? There was something that we were hearing.
Was
A
yeah,
delay. It was a delay because it was.
Was someone in the studio talking to you?
Hold on. Now, can you hear
About-
me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes.
Can you hear me? No.
Yes. No, we
You
can.
can hear me. Okay, because I can't hear you now.
Okay.
I'm losing it, man. I'm losing it. But anyways, so no, what it was it was a little bit of feedback because it's on a different channel now. Basically, how I feed his audio to you guys is the same audio that feeds the telephone. So it was a little bit of feedback, is what it was. And again, I don't know what to do. I texted you can't text here. You got to do a ticket. You got to do a ticket. So I did a ticket with the engineer right away and said, now we've got this problem, so I don't know what to tell you, man. Anyways,
Okay.
So yeah, I have alerted them to the situation, the overall situation and the situation with the phones possibly feeding back. But yeah.
Now, all I have in my head, David, since he's gone ticket so many times, is Eddie Murphy doing Bill Cosby about Cosby's son going to see the show and got money for the ticket. That's all that's in my head right now. Don't worry, I'll get back to draft talk here, David.
No.
I mean, so many questions.
All right. I
To me, the
understand.
Giants and Washington are two teams that could really trade down, but that's just me.
Just on one positive note, the feedback wasn't going out over the air. It was only coming through our source. So just wanted to let you know that too.
Gotcha. Ugh.
Well, yeah, you hear what we hear on Twitch, guys.
Right. So Twitch and YouTube heard it.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the bonus hour, the pro hour, since we're in Jacksonville and Tampa, St. Pete only, although we were on Twitch, we're on YouTube. There are a few apps streaming us, so we know you can get us elsewhere. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Well, you got everybody foaming at the mouth. You do. So, and it can't be a bad thing. I mean, if, our audience is fired up about what you've been talking about, I don't see how that's a bad thing. So, I got to get in line. I got to get with the program.
Well, I mean, if you want to later in the day, if you just want to text back and forth and do a mock draft, that would be fine.
Words.
Moulton, there's been a handful of times. This is nearly 20 years we've been doing a show, and usually it takes a sexual innuendo comment or a drug comment to make David somewhat speechless.
Yes,
I have to go.
Yes, if you bring up a topic, usually it's during the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I'm worried that parents have their kids in the car, and I'm like, oh, man, did we have to get that detailed? And usually it has to do with a body part or something that comes out of the body. Right. Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. So without that, I have a difficult time, particularly when talking about sports, to make David speechless. There's not much. I mean, there are things that I could say that he could go, wow, I never expected you to go in that direction, or that's an opinion I've not heard you have before. But there have been at least 3 times today that David's not known what to say next because I've gone NFL draft.
Right. And that's a first. That is a first. Usually I'm not verklempt because he talked about the possibility of the Commanders trading down. By the way, I think that's where Sonny Styles ends up.
Okay.
I think Sonny Styles ends up in Washington.
And I think Cincinnati's basically his floor, if you know what I mean. Like if he gets past Washington, I think New Orleans I think there's a good chance they either take best edge or wide receiver there. I could see Tate going to New Orleans. They need a wide receiver, so I could see that happening. Kansas City, I think they're going to go, they're in the same boat. They could go edge, wide receiver. They could go tackle. I don't see them going linebacker, if you know what I mean. So I think Cincinnati's a falling spot if he gets past Washington.
By the way, you mentioned the possibility earlier of the Giants trading down. I don't think the Giants trade down further than 9 because I think there's either a position or a player that they really want. Okay, that if they go beyond 9, they have a chance of losing the top end of one of those 2 positions. But I'll be
Kansas
curious.
City's got 2 first-round picks, so
I know
that's a scenario that I think all of us can envision. It makes sense. I mean, if Kansas City wants to go up and get an edge guy, and to me, that's where. What happens if Love goes 3 and Tennessee does something like tackle, for instance, and all of a sudden the Giants are there going, well, we don't necessarily need an edge. We could move down and get the guy we want at 9 and get another first-round pick.
Okay. I'm biased because to me, like if he's on the board at 5, I will be screaming for the Giants to take Bain. That's my guy. That's the guy I want, not Sonny Styles. I want Bain. Okay. I don't care about his arm. I don't care. I'm sorry. He's unblockable at times. And if you move him inside on passing downs, okay, Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, Reuben Bain Jr., seriously? And if they hold on to Dexter Lawrence, just push in the middle of the pile, come on. Okay, the Giants are going to get 60 sacks. Okay, they're going to turn this around quickly. That's who I want. But there's a
And
lot of
think about it.
people.
Neighbors coming back after an injury, David. I mean, Dart, another year under his belt. I mean, they didn't have a passing game last year because their number one receiver went down reasonably early, and that guy's a stud. I mean, he's a stud.
But I'm just talking about, they blew 5 double-digit fourth quarter leads. Does anybody think if they add Reuben Bain, and I'm not even talking about Kayvon Thibodeau, because I actually think they're going to trade him during the draft. Okay, I'm talking about Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, Reuben Bain Jr., and if they hold on to Dexter Lawrence pushing the pile in the middle. Seriously? Like, they're not going to be top 3 in the league in sacks? Like, that ain't going to be the Houston Texans defensive front on passing downs? How they're going to blow 5 double-digit fourth quarter leads, getting that kind of pressure on the passer? Yeah, I don't think so. But nobody has Bain going to the top 5. In fact, there's talk Bain could be on the board for Cincy at 10. There's talk he could be on the board for Dallas at 12. Mark, you're the Bengals, okay? Bain, Styles, Downs. Who are you taking?
Bain.
Okay.
Did I say Bain yet?
You did.
Okay.
But, I mean, tell me I'm wrong. How many mock drafts do you see Bain available 9, 10 range?
Oh, absolutely. That seems to be where he's at. Now,
I mean,
you've talked to me. This is where I trust you probably a little too much, and just in all seriousness, because if I was doing this show with anybody else in the country, there's nobody that's as down on Sonny Styles as you.
Right.
Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, David, where I'm on your side with this is linebacker at 5, really? This isn't 1990s football. So
this isn't a Lawrence Taylor type. I mean, this is an inside linebacker.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I mean. It's not, it's not an edge guy that's going to get you 12, 15 sacks. I get your point, not on the talent side, but to me, positionally, can you draft him that high?
Well, and I'm going to be completely honest with everybody. Here is my bias. It's why I'm higher on Kyler Murray than everybody else except Kyler Murray, is because when I've seen Kyler Murray play, he's been fantastic. Saturdays, Sundays, doesn't matter. Honestly, does not matter. Every time I've seen him, he's been outstanding. Do you know every time I've seen him, he's been bad? Jordan Love. You want Jordan Love to have a bad performance? Make sure I'm at the game. I've seen Jordan Love play 4 NFL games in person. Home and away. Doesn't matter. Level of competition. Doesn't matter. I saw him outplayed by Tommy DeVito. And I mean, it wasn't arguable. Outplayed by Tommy DeVito. So, here's my thing. We did 3 Ohio State games last year. I had to remember, did we call out his name during any point of those 3 games? When all this pre-draft hype started coming in, I started going, hold on a second. That's the inside linebacker for the Buckeyes. We weren't calling his name. And they won every game we did. They won every game we did comfortably. They ain't giving up points and yards. I mean, they were stopping their opponents. But I'm like, did he have 12 tackles in any of these games and we just didn't do our job? What am I talking about here? So that's my bias. There were 3, 4 other guys on defense. I'm like, I'd take him. So, Mark, so that's where I could be dead wrong. I'm judging a guy, based off of his bad film, and I'm not judging a guy based off his good film.
And they say football IQ is off the charts.
His athleticism is amazing. Right. I know. I'm the idiot.
Can he cover it? Is he going to cover tight ends? Is he going to cover a slot? I mean, there's, does he end up playing more of a safety hybrid? There are a lot of questions, but I would take Downs before I'd take Styles.
Even though now during the combine, there's a worry about his one knee. They think it's potentially arthritic. They think that he won't have the 10, 12-year career that we're hoping for, that it'll be closer to 7. So he's a hell of a player. He really is. He's a tackling machine. His instincts are amazing. I'd take 8 years, honestly. It's kind of like Kenny Easley. Seattle got 7, 8 years out of Kenny Easley. Yeah, you'd take it.
But I mean, even like, what tackle are you for sure on? Because, as Pat brought up, you've got one left tackle. It's the kid from Georgia. Do you take the Miami tackle or do you take the Utah tackle? So I think there are a lot of positions, even with Reese and Bell, people are flip-flopping on that one.
Bailey. Yeah.
Bailey.
Right.
Sorry. I keep Bell's the receiver. Bailey,
Right.
But Bailey and
Right.
Reese, who are
Reese.
you taking there?
By the way, the word is that the Dolphins love the Utah tackle. But I'm going to tell you right. Okay. You're the new GM of the Dolphins. Reuben Bain Jr. falls to 11. And it's your choice. The tackle that you've had your heart set on for a month and Reuben Bain Jr. Who you taking? Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong, but tell me who you're taking. Or are you calling Dallas and having them give you a 4th rounder so they can take Bain and then you get an extra 4th and you take, Bano there?
That's the move I'd make. I'd be, I think Dallas is in a spot, but Dallas doesn't have a 2nd-round pick. So to move way up, they don't have the ammo with this year's draft to do it, David.
So
yes, my Red Wings got knocked out of the playoffs Saturday, and I spent Sunday morning at printing out pages, lines, arrows, paragraphs, circles on the back of each one, describing what it was, trying to figure out what's going to happen in the first round of the draft.
Listen, we have 45 seconds left in this break, and I don't want to spend any longer on the Red Wings, the Dead Wings, than that. But you had to feel good when the home crowd booed that team the way they did at the end. And then, since it was their last home game, they did the, circle at center ice and sticks in the air. And that crowd just booed the out of them off the ice. That had to make you feel a little good.
No, I was sick to my stomach, but it's what they should have done. I mean, David, when I checked into the hospital, they were, I think, in first place in the division. Okay.
I know.
And they didn't make the damn playoffs again. All right. Yeah. Miller and Moulton.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I don't think the Penn State guards with Arian. I think the earliest he goes is Baltimore. From everything I've seen and read, if he goes before it, I would be a little surprised. For what it's worth, not saying he's not really good, and they're not going to get a guy that's going to play 8-10 years. I'm just saying I don't see it happening before 14. Like look at the first 13 picks, and you tell me who's going to take a guard. Now, you know, if somehow Bain and the tackle they like were both gone, would Miami do it? Because I think Miami's in a spot where they can take best player available through the first, you know, what do they have? 2 first-round picks or what do they have? They've got 2 firsts, they've got 1 second, and they've got like 700 third-round picks.
Who's this?
Miami. They have 4 third-round picks with what I mean. They got 7 picks in the first 3 rounds. They could literally take best player on the board every time, and I wouldn't criticize them.
Should take 500 more.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
By the way, little prick's back asleep, just so you know. Already back asleep. Not even fair.
Oh, he figures he doesn't have to be up till 10.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day one. Some final thoughts. It's all coming up. Mark, I just want to tell you that so far, we have nailed some of our baseball picks 2.5 weeks in the season. I mean, Braves pitching, they're in trouble.
Right.
They're in trouble. I mean, they got 4 starters on the injured list to start the year. It's Chris Sale and pray for rain. And they're giving up like 2.7 runs a game here. And first place
David, in fact,
division.
in the National League, the next closest team in runs allowed has given up 12 more runs than have the Braves.
Right. And they've played one less game.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the Dodgers. Yeah.
Correct.
Right. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Best run differential in baseball. Remember, Braves, man, I don't know how they're going to, till their pitching gets healthy by Memorial Day. I don't know how they're going to do it. Yeah. We don't either. Mm-hmm. Pirates are in first place. I have to admit, I'm thrilled. I so hope this can continue.
And they blew one yesterday.
Oh,
Huge lead against the Cubs, and the Cubs
Yep.
come back and take them down.
Yeah. Cubs needed it too. Cubs needed it. They would have been like 4 games behind the Pirates this early in the season. So instead they're just 2 back. So, big win there. And remember I said the Dodgers would not win. Their over-under is 103.5. And I said, man, that's a big number. So you got to bet the under on the Dodgers. Come on now. Yeah. What are they, 11-4?
They're 11-4. Yes.
Yeah. They're on pace to win 116, something like that. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Here we go. But hey, Rays are tied for first. They just swept the Yankees, who have lost 5 in a row. That 8-2 start for the Yankees. They're now 8-7.
Yankees can't score runs. Their pitching's as good as the Braves. They've allowed 44 runs. Their pitching's been stellar. They can't score runs, and apparently their second baseman doesn't know the rules of the game.
That's okay, because last year's shortstop didn't either, Anthony Volpe. So, all right, yeah, Jazz. I'll tell you what, they're not going to re-sign him, and he's probably not going to get a long-term deal from somebody. But he's an interesting bat, and he's athletic, and, he'll get a contract. He's fun, though. I will say this. Jazz Chisholm is interesting. He's moody, okay? He can be really good. He can be really bad. Fundamentally, he can be just a train wreck. I mean, he can carry – in that ballpark, he can carry you for a week to 10 days. He's fun. And you got to admit, outside of Aaron Judge hitting homers – I don't know how exciting this Yankees team is. They're good. They're probably the best team in the American League. But I don't know how exciting they are. Jazz Chisholm is exciting because he can lose any game out there for them. Yep. And he'll talk about it afterwards, too. He talks to the media all the time. Did you see him post-game? Over the weekend, he makes that he doesn't know what the rules are on the force out. Okay. And so he says to the reporters, what would you have done? And they said, well, I wouldn't have done that because that's not a force out. And he said, well, that's not what I was thinking in my head. So I guess I had that all wrong. I just said that. He's putting his earring in, by the way, while he's doing the post game. The button-down Yankees clubhouse. No facial hair, for the longest time. That sort of deal. He's putting in his second earring in his left ear while doing the postgame. I'm like, I love this guy.
The other one, and a buddy of mine sent it to me. The Padres, I think Thursday, Friday, I think it was Thursday, Friday, have back-to-back walk-offs against Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
If you can go find it, the radio calls of the two walk-offs are unbelievable. One of them was a grand slam.
Yes.
And the guy has a voice that to me is not a baseball voice. It's gravelly. It's not to me in my head what a baseball voice is. But then Sheets is the guy who hits the walk-off in the second game. And he goes nuts again and goes with holy sheets for the walk-off. Now, as for two guys that have done a lot of play-by-play, that is daring.
Yes.
That is daring right there.
But that's when you feel you've got job security.
Well, I'm just saying daring because I'm afraid I would slip up in saying it.
Right.
You know, that's right there where you could make a mistake. And this isn't Castellanos hitting a home run and it's 4-0 Philadelphia. No. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about replacing the two E's with an I and getting yourself in a little bit of trouble. That's all.
Now back to the apology already in progress. I will say that meme will not die. That just, I mean, I see political figures out there doing apologies, and then all of a sudden there's Brenneman with the 8 seconds, and that's a deep drive to left center. It's a home run by Castellanos, and that'll make it 4-0. And then they go back to the politician and the apology. I mean, it's awesome.
Well, someone had an NFL satirical writer put a Diana Rossini apology out over the weekend and slipped that in the middle of it as well.
Yep. Even verbally.
She was suspended by The Athletic, by the New York Times. I mean,
I don't know if it was technically a suspension. I believe that, you know, is there a difference between suspended and put on leave? She did on Friday tweet out some NFL material. Okay, but then they basically said they're going to get to the bottom of this, and while they're getting to the bottom of this, we're going to keep her out of The Athletic. Okay.
I think all of you can, and the women can answer for themselves, but the guys out there can ask your wives, Sean McVay or Mike Vrabel, who would they go for? You can use it at dinner tonight.
But I will say it's unfair because, one, they're over a decade apart, but also rumor has it that the involvement is also a decade apart.
No. I'm not bringing any. I'm just asking. You want to have dinner conversation or bring football? Hey, these two coaches. If you were to leave me for one of these two coaches, which one would you leave me for? That's all. I'm not associating anybody with anybody. I'm just pleasant dinner conversation to get football in the mix when you're having a conversation with your wife. Make it about her for once, not about you.
Right. Our big Detroit fan, Paula. I'm guessing, she's pulling a Kevin Durant,
right?
Blake Griffin or, Kevin Love. And I think she's going to say Dan Campbell.
Exactly.
Of course she is. Right. Because she's such a homer.
Of course she is. So that just,
gotcha.
There's no one really talking about that story. I thought it was interesting that
it's almost as if the NFL picked up the phone and called all their media outlets and said, not a word. Not a word.
Because to me, the one place that would is Barstool.
Right.
What show does she go on? Their most popular sports podcast, the PFT. I mean, so she's friends with all of them. And that's their, as far as their general sports stuff, that's their big show.
Yep. No, I know. To me, that's the most amazing part of this. With all the media covering the NFL, all right, and all the talking head shows out there, mainstream talking head shows, and they've done virtually nothing on it. Remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a post that someone said ESPN's done more on the couple that got busted at the Coldplay concert.
Right. Which makes you go, is this coming from Park Avenue? Or, you know what? We have our own place to worry about. And if we start reporting on other places, people may start reporting on ours.
Miller and Moulton, not even sleeping with our wives.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
No, Ambient, you're not close to being the only homer, but you're the only homer who really only talks about your teams 100% of the time. That's would be my take on you. Everybody else pays a lot of attention to other things. You are a one-trick pony, my friend, and that's fine. Hell, I'm a homer when it comes to my teams. But you also don't see any fault in your teams. That's the other side. I mean, Empire is a huge Eagles fan. I know who most everybody in here is a big fan of. But also RCB's a Cincinnati guy. DC's a Minnesota guy. I know who your teams are. Yeah, Dratharian and RCB are the two Bengals guys in the room. And I'm surprised you're not waving Rockies pom-poms. The Broncos bought 40% of them over the weekend, or that finished or whatever. So I thought you'd be in there. See, Red Dog, I had no idea. I actually had no idea. I know Yinzer is just by the damn name. It's not too tough to figure out. Well, I would say the faults in the Avs are they don't get it done in the postseason. I think that's a really simple one. They've been literally the best team in the West for a handful of years, and how many cups have they got to? So that's their fault. If they, when's the last? I mean, they should. To me, they're a team that should have multiple cups in the last 10 years, and they don't. Oh, Red Dog, it's so funny you say that because I will say Tampa's, probably, 8 degrees cooler than Southwest Florida. And so we walked outside when it's been like low 70s. And I'm like, ooh, a little cold out. And my son wants to just kill me. He just mocks me to no end. I came back from getting my work done at the hospital. And he's like, what are you doing back already? So I had to put some socks and shoes on. It's a little cold. And he just looked at me with disdain.
Same way you look at him when he goes back to sleep.
No, that's jealousy. I am flat out jealous.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes until we're done. That's it for us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Pat Kerwin, he and Mark will talk for 2 segments tomorrow because, Mark needs his NFL draft fix, and so I can't be taking up half the time. So Pat and Mark will do their 2 segments tomorrow, and I'll have to book a guest or 2 for me.
I'll be back on Twitch around 5 o'clock tonight for my mock draft. I have never done this to David. I have never put him at a near loss for words because of sports talk.
Listen, in the last 19 years, if I had tried to bribe you to do this as an act, hey, can we just do this for a segment or 2? Can we just drag our listeners, along, blah, blah, blah? You wouldn't have been able to do it. You would have cracked. Okay. And the fact that this is so genuine, that you have reached such draft gooberdom, is now now I'm starting to come along. See, I woke up this morning, I still had the Masters on my mind. I had the end of the NBA regular season on my mind and the playoff matchups. I'm still trying to figure out who's going to finish first, second, or third in the Pacific in the NHL. Okay. And you're talking to me about who the Browns can get at 24. And, do you take this guy late in the first round, or do you hope he's there at 36 or 39? And I'm like, oh my goodness, what is wrong with you? But now, it feels almost, heck, it's almost 10 a.m. Now it's like, that's so far in the past.
And the fact that the Dolphins brought in Lemon for an interview, would they actually take him at 11? I would be completely stunned if that happened. 30, they take a receiver. I get it. 11, I'd be ticked off if I was a Dolphin.
Well, remember, they could trade down. They could possibly trade up from 30. You just.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
We had this about a week and a half ago.
Uh-oh.
The first Pony Express rider left. It was on the 3rd of April. They got to Sacramento today in 1860. 10 days from Missouri to Sacramento.
In 1860?
Yeah, it's by horse.
Right. That's like what? 150, 170 miles a day?
Couple of miles, a pretty decent mountain range you got to go through.
You're right.
I mean,
that's kind of like, uphill into the wind there. Yeah. I mean, that's
right.
Yeah. It had a couple clubs. So, yeah, that's not bad.
Not bad at all. 1926, at the age of 38, Walter Johnson pitches his 7th opening day shutout. This used to be one of my favorite things to do in this segment. And it really not even in this segment, just in life. This segment didn't exist when it was more fun. But it was today in 1940 that at Maple Leaf Gardens, the Rangers win 3-2 for a 4-2 series victory. They would not win another Stanley Cup for 54 years.
Yeah, and it's 32 and counting right now. So think about it. They've won one since before our involvement in World War II.
1942, Byron Nelson wins the Masters in an 18-hole playoff over Hogan. 1954, Hank Aaron plays his first game with the Milwaukee Braves. Today in 1970, Oakland, home opener. They use gold-colored bases. The Rules Committee bans the innovation. I think teams should be able to use whatever color base they want. Just saying.
No, because then that's how you get the Oregon, basketball floor.
You're probably right. Today in 73, Bob Marley releases their 5th studio album, Catch a Fire. It was on Island Records. Kind of changed things for Marley, but he did it out of desperation. He was stuck. They were on tour as an opening act and literally got stranded in England. That album had Stir It Up on it, kind of a big one for Marley. The cover, by the way, was a Zippo lighter. This is back when albums were so cool. The album cover was a Zippo lighter. You opened the album like a Zippo lighter, pulled out the inner cover that had Marley smoking a joint. Nicholas wins his 5th today in 75, one ahead of Johnny Miller and Tom Weiskopf. It was the first time an African-American competed in the tournament. That was Lee Elder. The $2 bill came back into circulation today in 76. Today was opening day in 78 at Yankee Stadium. Reggie had a home run in his first at-bat. And the stadium gave away Reggie bars that day. So after the home run, the Reggie bars were all on the field. It delayed the game for 5 minutes.
It was a terrible candy bar. It was. And you got to remember, I'm 12 at the time. I mean, what candy bar won't I eat and think, this is amazing? Okay. Yeah. He hits the home run, 77, the whole deal, blah, blah, blah. They come out with the Reggie bar. It was big and round, orange wrapping. It was loaded with chocolate, nuts, and caramel. But the nuts were the overwhelming taste. And because of it, the bar, I mean, you had to work at it. And it didn't last long. And you got to remember, the Yankees are winning back-to-back World Series, and Reggie's amazing. And that's how bad the candy bar was. It went away.
Ballesteros wins his first Masters as a 23-year-old today in 80. Also that same day, the U.S. and their allies boycott the Summer Games in Moscow. Today in 85, We Are the World hits #1 in America. It would stay there for 4 weeks. It was released in December of 84. Nicholas won in 86 today, his final Masters, his 6th, beating Norman and Tom Kite by 1 shot.
Did you watch the show they did noon to 1?
No, I was watching the Masters noon to 1.
Gotcha. They had Nick Price, people who were competing on the back nine. They ran an interview from the late Ballesteros that he did in 2008. There was no Norman, which I thought, is this he wouldn't cooperate with it, or did they not reach out? Because I don't know, kind of a central character in this. But they had Tom Kite. I had never heard Kite talk at length about it before. And Nick Price and Watson talked at length about it also.
I love this one. Today in 94, Pedro Martinez has a perfect game through 7 1/3. He hits Reggie Sanders. Again, he has a perfect game for 7 1/3. Hits a batter, bench clearing brawl.
Right. Because he hit him intentionally.
He had a perfect game going.
Yeah. Pedro didn't care.
Nope.
Nope. Because something had happened earlier and he had to be hit.
Tiger wins his first today at 97, blowing out the field. He was 18 under. Tom Kite was 6 under. He finished second.
Kite walked up to the microphone afterwards and said, "What are you guys talking about? I won my tournament."
Popovich passes Lenny Wilkins to become the all-time winningest coach today in 2019 when the Spurs beat the Nuggets. That same day, Billie Eilish hits #1 in America, her debut album. She was 17 years old at the time. She hadn't yet put her foot in her mouth. That would take a little while. And then a year ago, Rory finally got his Masters, winning over Justin Rose in a playoff. Thomas Jefferson, Butch Cassidy, Don Adams from Get Smart, hockey coach and executive John Muckler, and Paul Sorvino would have all celebrated birthdays today. Al Green is 80. Go listen to a couple songs. Davis Love is 62. He wants to go by Rick. I'll always know him as Ricky. Schroeder is 56. Aaron Lewis from Stained is 54. And Sergei Gonchar is 52. What did I miss, David?
Today in 64, Sidney Poitier, the first African-American to win an Oscar for Best Actor. The movie was Lilies of the Field. I wanted to get back to Kite for a second. Second to Jack, along with Norman in 86. Second solo to Tiger in 97 at the Masters. That's pretty good. Mark Fidrich passed away today in 09 in the truck accident. Sorry to have to bring that up.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
You know, if someone dies, I leave that one to you, David.
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt, especially mass murders. That's definitely, when you think mass murders, think Moulton.
For the good, we go to Hortonville, Wisconsin, where I just like these stories because there was a race for village trustee. It had 4 candidates. They were vying for 3 open seats. One candidate got 422 votes. One candidate got 405 votes. The other 2 got 356 votes each. David, do you know how they solved who the 3rd commissioner was?
Coin flip?
Coin flip.
Oh, my goodness.
And the best part is Dalton Davis won. When asked who he voted for the other candidate who he tied with because he said she did a good job in the last term. For the bad, and this could either way. These could have flip-flopped. I don't know if this is bad or great, but there is video out there from Anaheim taken by a blogger that shows a kid stuffed in the back of a stroller. There was one child sitting in the stroller, another child hidden in the back of the stroller. The blogger is convinced that they snuck this child into Disneyland. That part's good. They didn't get caught. He doesn't know for sure if it was actually that way. The bad part is in 2019, it would have cost about $300 to bring the family of 4 in. That same family on April 18th would have cost nearly $500. Tickets are going up at Disneyland in rates that we cannot believe. So how do you blame someone for sneaking in a kid? And finally, the ugly, we go to Hudson, Florida, where one postal carrier is refusing to deliver mail inside the Eden RV Resort. You see, the Eden RV Resort is a clothing optional resort, and this particular postal carrier will not deliver mail inside. They have one of those boxes where you put the mail like an apartment building, but if there's a box that's too big to go in, they're supposed to bring it to the office. This person refuses to do that because everybody inside is new. I don't blame the postal worker one bit. As you've ever seen, and I've never been to a nudist colony or a nudist resort, but anytime you see a shot when they just cover people up, have you ever seen a good-looking person at any one of these? No, you never have. They're all way out of shape. They're all pretty ugly, and they're mostly men that are David and I's age, and no one needs to see that. That is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly on today, April the 13th, and it's brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department, hiring new officers, offering great pay, overtime opportunities, great benefits, and more. For all information, capecops.com. That's capecops.com.
Well, no NBA. Got 2 play-in games tomorrow, 2 play-in games on Wednesday. They'll both be on Amazon. You got 10 NHL games. Lightning hosting the Red Wings. Lightning technically in 3rd place. Although if they win tonight, the worst they'll be is tied for 2nd, and they'll own the tiebreaker. Buffalo is in Chicago. All right, Buffalo trying to hold off Tampa and win the division. Phillies at home for Carolina. The Flyers with 2 more points will clinch a playoff spot, period, end of sentence. With 1 more point, they eliminate Columbus. With 2 more points, they also eliminate the Capitals. So the Flyers with a chance to clinch what would be the final playoff spot in the East, albeit it wouldn't be a wild card. It would be 3rd place in the Metro. San Jose trying to stay alive in Nashville, who's a point behind the LA Kings for the final wild card spot. Speaking of the Kings, Mark, that's the game that's nationally televised tonight on ESPN, the Kings and the Kraken. So there. Got a bunch of baseball games, as you would expect. You know, FS1 640 Cubs and Phillies. That's not bad. Marlins at Braves, and the Rays have the day off.
Miami trying to get back on track in Atlanta. Pat Kerwin on the show tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Monday.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit edisonawards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.